It's time for Twig. This week in Google, Stacy, Ant, and Jeff are all in the house. We finally get some numbers about Stadia, and it doesn't look good. ChatGPT and OpenAI get a big investment from Microsoft. What are they going to do with all that money? And it was a bad week for tech. We'll tell you about all the big tech flops as we do this week in Google. Coming up next, before we get to the show, I want to remind you our Twit survey is up and running for the rest of the month, but I would love it if you would take it right now. Go to twit.tv/survey23. We only do this once a year to try to get to know you better, and it really helps us both with ad sales, but also to make sure our programming is matching your needs. Twit.tv/survey23 to take our optional survey. I appreciate it. And now, on with the show.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig. This week in Google, episode 698, recorded January 11th, 2023. Hands off my pound cake. This week in Google is brought to you by Fastmail. Reclaim your privacy, boost productivity, and make email yours with Fastmail. Try it free for 30 days at fastmail.com/twit. Fastmail is also giving Twit listeners a 15% discount in the first year when you sign up today. And by Melissa. Over 10,000 clients worldwide in industries like retail, education, healthcare, insurance, finance, and government rely on Melissa for full spectrum data quality and ID verification software. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. Thanks for listening to this show. As an ad-supported network, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our qualified audience. Are you ready to grow your business? Reach out to advertise@twit.tv and launch your campaign now. It's time for Twig. This week in Google, the show we cover the latest news, not from Google. Well, a little bit from Google. Shall I start with a story from Google? I think I got one. Stacey Higginbotham is here. She's going to be here tomorrow, as she said on Sunday, where she was on Twit. There's a lot of Leo in my week. I'm sorry, Stacey. I'm so sorry. Stacey on IoT.com, at GigaStacey on the Twitter. She does the great IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel. Welcome. Good to see you. I liked your Indiana Jones leather vest that you wore, or our Han Solo leather vest.
I can wear that tomorrow.
I wish you would just wear this all the time from now on. Would you mind?
I was like, I can make that my thing.
Well, the reason is I brought my fedora for the day, so I thought, well, maybe I would match. Hello there, Jeff Jarvis.
This was the fastest butt-in-chair to show start I've ever seen.
Because we're half an hour late.
Stacey said she has a dinner reservation, and so Leo just said, okay, it's this week at Google.
Cacio e pepe from Trader Joe's does not count as anything to hurry the show for. I just want you to know.
True.
It's because I'm a princess, y'all.
Yeah. We treat her with all the dignity and respect she deserves. Unlike Jeff Jarvis, the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, boss.
Good to see you. I am well.
Good to see you. Congratulations on I watched your restart of the Ask the Tech Guys.
Oh, thank you for watching that.
It was fun
a little
to watch
rocky
and fun to watch. Get all the Rocky things.
We're doing stuff we've never done before, like using Zoom to take inbound calls.
Well, I was going to say, I put in the chat, I would love it if once in a while we take a call here on the show.
Oh,
cool.
We totally can. That's a good idea.
Now that we have that.
Yeah. It's a little logistically it's complicated for me because
John's head is exploding because what screen does he put it on and how does he do that?
It's complicated, but we were able to take I think 3 or 4 calls, which was great. We had also segments about CES from Father Robert Ballasser, who's going to be on Twit on Sunday. He was there. He did some stuff. We had a segment from our car guy, Sam of Will Samet, because there was a lot of car stuff at CES. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Micah Sargent and I are doing it. It's called Ask the Tech Guys. It is the new version of the old radio show. And frankly, I can't, the radio show, I was always like, okay, let's gird myself.
Gotta do it.
Not gotta do it. I mean, it's an honor to do a national syndicated radio show, but it's hard because people ask hard questions, and I always felt like I was on the spot, and it was always nervous. Now I feel like I'm with friends, so it's a different. Yeah, I just feel better when it's on Twit for some reason.
Plus, Micah's really good at this stuff.
Oh,
you two.
I love working with Micah. I mean, I love working with all of you, but Micah, who's only 30, only just turned 30, adds a little bit of youthful perspective,
energy.
Yeah, or just like he knows what Snapchat is good. I'm just saying it's useful. Who knows what TikTok is? Mr. Ant Pruitt hands. Did we lose him? Did we lose him?
I'm here.
Oh, good. He's back.
That gum dogs hit one of my cameras, but I'll fix that. I have this other camera.
That's funny.
Did he knock it over or did he unplug it?
I think they unplugged it because I don't see the tally line on over there. Well, I mean, in the pre-show, Mrs. Higginbotham and Mr. Jarvis and I were talking about the dog sitting under my desk at my feet as I continued to try to kick them to say move. They just wanted to stay there, and now they just totally ruined the start of the show. Hello, Mr. Laporte. How do you be, sir?
I am so sorry to keep y'all waiting. We welcomed Richard Campbell.
We had a lovely chat without you.
Good. I thought you would keep each other company, which is nice.
Yes, we did.
But we have a new host on Windows Weekly, Richard Campbell, taking over from Mary Jo Foley, and so we spent a little more time saying hello to Richard and getting to know him and all that stuff. So I apologize.
Bye, Mary Jo.
Yeah, she got a real job. So as sometimes happens, don't get any ideas.
You never know.
Don't get any ideas. She is working at she's an analyst, principal analyst, editor-in-chief, in fact, of Directions on Microsoft.com. So, yeah, we're very happy for her, but it did leave a gaping hole in Windows Weekly, which we have filled.
I've enjoyed watching Richard. He's good.
He's great. He's fun.
Yeah.
So I said I'd start with a Google story. Let's start with Stadia, which is closing down about a week from now. And 9 to 5 Google says we have now some idea of why it's shutting down. Destiny 2, which was one of the first games launched on Stadia, it was kind of their flagship game, was one of the most popular games on the platform. It was free to play, so if you wanted to play this very popular game, you could do it for free on Stadia. So the question is, how many people played Destiny 2 on Stadia? According to Destiny Raid Report, which is a tool that tracks player stats, it had gathered stats on Stadia and Destiny 2 since the launch, November 2019. Stadia made up just 1.5% of new Destiny 2 account creations since 2019. Just 0.1% of all raids completed since that time were done on Stadia. So about 23,000 raids on 900,000 accounts. It sounds like not only did Stadia not represent an important part of Destiny's subscriber base, but that even though people might have joined because of that, they didn't even play the game. Because if you're on Destiny 2, you're going to be doing raids. Only 23,000 raids in 3 years. That doesn't sound like the Stadia really had much of an audience. 9 to 5 Google says that probably there were more than 1 million total players over the lifetime of Stadia. Probably not more than 1 million players. And it seems like they did some kind of imaginary number crunching, which I think is probably fairly accurate. This Google's, Google's platform had no, I got a bean in my throat. I had to, in between shows, grab a few bites of beans. Don't do that before a show. I'm just saying. If that's true, Google's platform had no more than 3 million total players over its lifetime, and that's being very generous. So,
is this a gaping hole at Google? I mean, Google not having social and Google Plus, I think, is a gaping hole in Google. Should Google have had a game?
No, I think the argument and the reason that Stadia didn't do so well is Google launched it with no expertise in the arena, no reputation in the arena, and let's face it, a reputation for killing things. I think people just stayed away in droves. That's really what happened. I joined it.
It feels like they maybe started, like they had like this cool technical solution to like, hey, we can do cloud gaming, because that is a very hard technical problem, right?
I'm sure that's why they did it.
So, yeah. So I feel like they just were like, let's see if we can do it. We can. Let's launch it as a product.
It's so Google, isn't it?
I think that's right, Stacey.
It's so Google. We can do it, so we can't. We do it, but then we lost interest. That was it. January 10th, the last day. So I guess yesterday, the last day. Yeah.
Did you get your refund?
I don't think so. A lot of people have by now. I didn't buy any. He did. I can't remember what I bought, to be honest with you. They had initially a launch thing where you get a controller and stuff, and I think I bought it and then I canceled it because then I realized what a wasted money that would be. And then I think later I subscribed to play some streaming games. I probably won't get any money back. That's fine with me.
All of your info is in your Bitcoin wallet, so it's not like you're ever going to see any
don't rub it in. Oh my God.
It was so funny on the Tech Guys preamble, watching Leo try to create and then find the LastPass account that he created.
I forgot my master password because I thought, I'm not going to keep this, but I was showing you how to move off LastPass. And I thought, well, I'm not going to keep this. And what I also did again is forgot the password. So I created a new account.
Can I get you one of those books that are bound in leather with passwords on it in ink, you can be like...
Yesterday, I decided after all this LastPass stuff to really increase the security on my Bitwarden account, including a 59-character master password, which I wrote down, which normally I go, don't write it down. But at this time, I thought, you know what, Leo, you're really bad. So I wrote it down and put it on a piece of paper. I don't remember where I put it, though.
Oh, Lord. I'll be honest. I have a file password, or I have a file folder that has all my backup.
A physical paper.
Like your backup things, the physical papers because everything. Plus, I do have some passwords. If you want to rob my house and then access my WordPress account, that's where you'll find it.
Well, but see, that's the point, is that somebody would have to have physical access to your premises. And at that point, you got other problems.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, plus, I figure this sounds a little morbid, but that's me. Should I, in the middle of the show, suddenly conk over? You want your family to be able to get at stuff, right?
Yeah. And I did do.
You have that.
Yeah. There's a thing in most password managers called emergency access that you should certainly set up, and I have that.
Oh, every year, and I actually recommend this for everybody. Every year, my husband and I sit down and we share all of our digital.
Do you have like a ceremony? Do you like put on hooded garments?
Yeah, we pour ourselves a glass of bourbon and we sit down and we're like, all right, this sucks.
It's the key exchange. There is actually
I still trust you moment.
There is a magical ceremony for the DNS server.
Do
you know about that?
The 7 keepers of the key. Is it 7 still?
Yeah, something like that. Including, I wonder, is Tim Berners-Lee one of them? It's a bit. They have a ceremony because every once in a while they have to rotate the keys, I guess. And they have a ceremony that is, you might as well kill a goat, or wear hooded gowns. Let me see if I can find.
Oh, here it is, DNS key ceremony.
Yeah. They sign the keys, and so they bring in. Here's the. Let's say they are not wearing hooded gowns. In fact, they're basically a bunch of nerds.
I think wearing a tie is about the equivalent.
3 of them are wearing ties. But in order to do this, these guys have to physically come to the same place and sign the root DNS zone's key ring. And I guess they do this frequently.
If someone else out there knows this, I read a mystery book at some point in time, and the plot point was that someone was murdering the people who kept the keys for DNS. And yes, see, I'm like, I was like so excited.
Book club.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, I know all about this. And like they spent a lot more time than they needed to for me personally explaining what was happening. But I was like, oh, this is so juicy. So if anyone remembers what that's called, yeah, tell us.
Here's an example, by the way, from the Internet Society. They had the big 25th DNS root key ceremony back in 2016, and there's a whole series of attestations in the post. Attestation 1: I attest that root key ceremony 25 took place according to the script, with only one exception. The ceremony administration was not performed by Francisco Arias, but by Punky Duero. Here's the script. They actually have a root key ceremony script that they follow. What must be done, who does what. I mean, this is a big deal because without it, the internet is not secure, and it can't continue. Act 1: initiate ceremony and retrieve equipments. Participants arrive and sign into the key ceremony room. CA confirms with SA that all audit cameras are recording and online streaming is live. So you can watch this. CA confirms that all participants are signed into the ceremony room and performs a roll call. And they go through the emergency evacuation procedures.
I want to see this.
It's a big deal.
Of this?
Yeah, well, that's what I was looking for. I'll have to see.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
They should be going, but I wish they would. IW1 enters UTC date and time using a reasonably accurate wall clock visible to all in the ceremony room. CA1 and IW1 escorts SSC2 COs into the safe room together. CA brings a flashlight when entering the safe room. SSC2, while shielding combination from camera, opens safe number 2, takes out the existing safe log, shows the most current page to the camera. I mean, this has to be done this way.
Hold on. I think I have it.
Do you have a video? This has to be done this way. And because these keys are the root keys, the certificates that make everything else reliable.
There's apparently episode 61 of the Ask Mr. DNS podcast. There's a description from Kim Davies of ICANN in PTI talking about doing a key ceremony and keeping it secure and transparent during the pandemic.
Secure and transparent because they couldn't do it in person, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, the next time they have one, we'll stream it live. How about that? We can maybe do
line 71.
Of course, Jeff has found a snippet on YouTube. You know, it's going to be, we're not going to enjoy. Oh, there's Vint Cerf, father of the internet, one of the key signers.
There's a picture coming up of them.
I remember talking to Vint about this when it happened. Here is the.
Have some sort of strange, ritual or anything like that. I think sometimes it gets misunderstood.
It should be a strange ritual.
Then there'll be a
here they are. He's in the safe room. He's showing. Oh, look at this room. It's a Faraday cage.
Wow.
He's showing the safe. You show it to the camera without there's the ceremony administrator. That is a Faraday cage. It is. I wonder if it's just a lock cage that happens to be made of metal grid. Maybe it should be. Maybe it has to be.
It needs to be, yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Do you think it's over-designed? No, it's probably necessary that they do this.
Wow.
No, wasn't there like somebody who had certificate authority?
Oh, yeah, they've revoked. Recently, we talked about this in Security Now. They had to revoke the certificate, a big certificate authority, because they were not, they were dishonest. They were not reliable. And you have to,
it looks like
even revoking it is a big deal because you have to go to all the browsers and the operating systems and say, take this out of your key store.
It looks like they do the ceremony maybe in August.
Well, this August, we got a date.
Yeah, so it's ICANN that will announce it. So look for press releases from ICANN around August. I mean, it's a slow news time. Why not cover the key ceremony?
I think it's really funny, don't you? I think it's really cool.
It is.
A unique pair of public and private root keys are generated and used to sign the set of zone signing keys. Actually, it happens every 3 months. The ceremony alternates between the El Segundo and Culpeper locations. These are the keys that make end-to-end DNSSEC possible and provide a chain of trust. This can't be wrong. It's generated by an AI, Stacy.
They're infallible.
It's got to be right.
It's data-driven.
It's got to be right. Speaking of AI, we talked about this a little earlier on on Windows Weekly. Microsoft has
Big deal.
said it's going to put $10 billion into OpenAI. Actually, Information had a very good article about this because the way the deal works, Microsoft, Elon Musk, a number of other people financialized OpenAI, but there is probably at this point no likelihood that OpenAI will ever go public. So there'll be no easy way for them to get the money back. So they actually have a deal with Microsoft's initial investment of $1 billion and now their increased investment. They've made a deal so that Microsoft gets 75% of the profits of OpenAI until the principal investment is paid back. After that, 49% until it hits a theoretical cap, because there's no exit possible for
Wait a
OpenAI.
second. Well, so they're supposedly investing $10 billion at a $29 billion valuation.
Yeah, there's others.
75%.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand. You're talking to the wrong person if you want to understand how finance works.
Well, so why wouldn't it go public?
Because the whole point. So it's my understanding.
It's open.
Yeah, they want it to be nonprofit. But the whole point is we want the development of a general artificial intelligence to be done in public, openly, and not in secret by a big company like Google or by the Chinese government. So the funders of this said this needs to be an open process. And I think probably their charter forbids an exit through sale or IPO.
So I've got a question for you. I'm seeing these stories over and over and over again saying, Google better watch out. Google's doomed. I don't see that. ChatGPT is a rotten way to do search because it makes up things, and that's what it does. B, Google's working like crazy on this stuff and has been devoting huge resources to this the last N years. Why would this look like a worrywart death knell for Google? I just don't get that. Am I crazy?
If they don't keep up, it is.
I think the worry is that you're basically, and I just dropped something in the notes next to this story just for fun because it's super nerdy.
Yeah.
And addresses
this is from Stephen Wolfram,
credibility,
who is certainly an expert.
So start reading now while I talk because it takes a while. But I think the worry with Google is that I don't know, Jeff, you're old enough. You'll remember when you had to do like Bayesian search into Google, you had to pluses and quotes and all that fun stuff. And then one day you stopped because you could, and this is kind of the snippets thing.
Yes.
Boolean, that's it.
Yeah.
Bayesian, yes.
Bayesian's related. It's statistical, but okay, yeah.
Let me pull out my slide, what do you call it?
Slide rule.
Anyway.
Slide bar.
So I think
okay.
the idea
this is going to be the misnomer episode, isn't it? The malaprops edition of This Week in Google.
That's it, malaprops. But the idea is that if you can just ask GPT chat something and it has access to all the information, much like Google had, then it's basically going to do the same thing. And that's all it is.
You didn't notice, but I did that search in a new search engine I've been using and actually really like, founded by Google executives. It's called Neeva, N-E-E-V-A. It's not free. Because their point was, we don't want to ever have ad supporting. We don't ever have to do tracking. We don't want to ever have to sell any information. So for $5 a month, you can use Neeva Pro. There's a free version.
Oh,
and
if you want to add to this, go on.
Well, I just want to point out, remember I read you about the key server ceremony. That document I read to you is actually generated by something they launched this week called Neeva AI. And you know how Google does the beginning of a search with a little snippet, which it usually takes from Wikipedia. They're trying to do, and this is something I think ChatGPT
and they put citations in,
and they put sites in, and they take it from multiple sites. That
is a big deal.
So this is the threat to Google, right?
Yeah,
no snippets,
well, I will say,
but actual because ChatGPT is very good at this summarizing content. That's one of the things it does seem to do very, very well.
Kevin turned me onto this, and I'm still looking at it. It's presearch.io. So if you check that out, because that is a decentralized search engine. So it is,
That perked
and I'm
his ears
trying.
up.
Well, no. I mean, it's like, since you're talking and researching search engines, this is, he told me about this morning, so I was just looking at it like.
Oh, it's powered
Right
by
before the show.
blockchain. Got to be good.
Well, yeah. So that's why I was like,
and
okay,
you
wait,
buy
I have
and
to
sell
buy
PRE
tokens?
tokens. Yeah, no.
Hold
okay.
on.
Oh, boy.
But
Okay.
but I do like. Well, I think that's to incentivize people to contribute. And
Yeah, in order to do this. So the way Nevo works is fully centralized, but they have been spidering for 5 years now. They were started some years ago.
Wow.
And so they're not taking, as DuckDuckGo does, Bing searches and anonymizing them or anything like that. They have their own server. Their own spider in their system and their own database. I've been using Nevo for a week, and I find it's actually as good as I'm happy with it. It's slow. It's the only thing. Google, we forget how fast Google is. But Google search results are like that. And we're so used to that with Nevo where you wait a second for a search result. But I think the search results are quite good.
Well,
So
with the
decentralized is
$5 a month-
interesting, but boy, blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Ant?
Well, I assume with the $5 a month, they're going to put that more towards their resources as far as being able to crawl a little bit better, as well as
That's the
actual
whole point.
compute power.
Yeah. I mean, Google monetizes by selling ads. So you have to monetize. Search isn't free.
Right.
So so that's kind of the question posed by Nevo is, well, what if instead of doing that, we charged our users for it? Harry McCracken has a good article at Fast Company about the beginnings of Nevo and how, who they are and their philosophy. It's former Google executives. This is from Fast Company last year, June 29th, 2021. And it's a number of, it's Sridhar Ramaswamy and Vivek Raghunathan. You know these guys?
I know Sridhar.
Yeah, he was a long-time Google executive. Basically, they got funding from Greylock and Sequoia for $77.5 million when they started it a few years ago. More than 30% of the roughly 60-person staff is ex-Googlers, including Udi Monbar, former head of Google Search, and Darren Fisher, one of the inventors of Chrome. So that made me kind of think, well, okay, these guys know what they're doing. And I think it's an interesting experiment. So what if we did search paid?
What would just show more plain vanilla googly search? How does it?
Give me a search term and I'll do it.
Matthew
Well,
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. Now, first thing is I don't know how to spell it, but fortunately it has autocomplete. So there you go.
Well, that's an important thing to know.
Now, you saw it was a little slow popping it up. It has the Wikipedia knowledge graph on the right, as does Google. But here's the AI beta containing information from Wikipedia, IMDb, the Spanish Wikipedia for some reason, page 6, which, as you know, Jeff, is a celebrity gossip site, and grunge.com. But instead of
scroll down now.
Okay,
Scroll down
and then here's the Wikipedia, here's IMDb, here's news, there's a news bar, but unlike Google, this is just kind of a search result, not a paid search. There's no paid results. Here's videos, all YouTube. Here's his Twitter. Here's biography.com.
He was at the White House doing a press conference? What?
Well, there you go. See, you've learned something. In June of last year.
June.
Oh, okay. June.
Yeah, you remember that?
I read that
remember
as
that.
January.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you remember that.
I was
yeah.
like, okay.
Here's a picture of him with Adele. I mean, I don't know.
I find him so obnoxious.
Okay. You still have, like Google, the videos tab, the personal, I don't know what that means, tab. There are no personal results. I'm not sure. Oh, that's for, Nevo will search my content as well. So you
Okay,
can
I
add
wonder
your,
Glad you have
Yeah.
nothing about him in your stuff. That's good.
yeah. Here's images. Here's a map. There is no Matthew McConaughey map.
Thank goodness.
I guess that's a relief.
It's fair.
And here's news about Matthew McConaughey. But see, in my settings, I can add. By the way, with the $5, you also get a free Dashlane or LastPass account and Bitdefender, which is an antivirus. I would say to choose Dashlane, not LastPass. And you can also add your own stuff to search. So I think this is really, really interesting. I've connected
play
it.
with that.
I've connected it to Google Dropbox, so it'll search my Dropbox. Slack, it'll search my GitHub, and I've connected it to my Notion. So the search results can also come from my stuff. I think that's very interesting.
Do you pay more to choose more apps?
No, this was part of the $5 Pro account. There is a free account that you can't do that with. But I was glad. And look, see over on the right here, here's my calendar. Here's some documents. Today, there's some interesting stuff in here. These are from Google Drive, all of them. I think this is really, they have an incognito search. I don't know.
Why would they need that?
That's a good question. Because the search is, as you saw, has information. It knows about me. I am logged in. So if you wanted to say, I just want a vanilla search that doesn't know about me.
Oh, okay.
I guess
doesn't take into account my.
Yeah.
It doesn't find those TikTok bathing suit pictures that are.
And Jeff, don't worry. There is a light mode.
Oh, shoot.
I just have dark mode turned on. I'll turn on light mode to make Jeff happy.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, let there be.
Yeah. So, for instance, I turned on location because that's an important part of Google search. Like if I search for pizza, I wanted to choose pizza parlors in my neighborhood, right? Not something across the country that I can't get. And there,
it shows Pizza Hut.
Well, and that would look to be an ad, but it's not on Google. I'm not sure why.
That's interesting. Why did that end up first?
Yeah, that is interesting. Here's what I really want, which is in my local map with local.
Which one is good
places.
there, guys?
These are all good. Old Chicago's deep dish. Acres quite good. Thin crust. Would not go to Pinky's. Pinky's is where everybody goes after the Little League game. And I would definitely do not go to Pizza Hut. Yeah, why is that showing up?
That's weird.
I could say prefer less Pizza Hut. I've just thumbs down that result.
I mean, they probably have a lot of SEO juice, right?
I would imagine.
I mean, that still counts for this.
It's interesting. Here's an Encyclopedia Britannica article, but notice every single result I can say, give me less or more of that. I don't want any Domino's in
Domino's?
No Domino's in my pizza results.
Domino's is actually a very tech-forward company. I'm just throwing that out.
Are they? If they had good pizza,
yeah.
I'd be interested. No. What do you mean tech-forward? Oh, they just bought a whole fleet of electric vehicles, right? for delivery, a bunch of bolts.
Yeah, they did.
That's cool.
Yeah. They did. They also do a lot with IoT implementations. They've got LoRaWAN for networks in several of their franchisees, the people who own their franchises. They actually are, yeah.
I don't know why, but they also give me the 10 best pizza places in Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay, now go to Google and do the same search with location.
Okay. With pizza?
Yeah, with pizza.
Okay. Or Matthew McConaughey.
No, Matthew McConaughey.
Enough of that.
Ugh.
Now, I am logged into Google.
What is your beef with Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, he's just obnoxious.
All right. I love Matthew McConaughey. All right.
I like him.
Here is the same map with different pizza places, including Magdalena's Savories and Sweets and Mama J's.
But no
Pizza Hut.
Oh, but Old Chicago's the first one.
Yeah.
Both,
and that was the first one in your other one.
It's good, but not the best in town. Here's Pizza Hut.
There's Pizza Hut.
Here's Domino's. They're so big, right? Because they're going to show up.
That's it.
Look at this, though. Google does nutrition
facts.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's
good. That's a Google thing. I like seeing all I can say is I like seeing competition.
I do too, but I think the Google search is still better.
Well, I don't search for pizza all the time. Let me search for
one example.
Oh, how about let's search for Gutenberg?
Okay.
Because they're,
you might get Project Gutenberg.
Well, I'm not going to search for Project.
Gutenberg?
Yeah, that's the number one. Oh, should I do Johannes?
Johannes Gutenberg, yeah.
Johannes Gutenberg, and let's do it on Neva. There's the Google result. Let's do the Neva.
Oh, my eyes.
It's. I know. I know.
So bright.
All right. Well, just for the purposes of this show, I'm going to leave it. And I know it's so bright, isn't it? A German blacksmith, goldsmith, and painter. All right. Here, look at this. Is the AI thing.
Okay, let me read that. Let me see if it's good or not. Yes.
Interestingly, it got this from thoughtco.com.
Well, it's not really true anymore. The number 2 is not really true anymore.
Okay, but you know where it came from now, which is biography.com.
His masterpiece first was it's a 42 line.
This is Jeff as a author of a well-known book about Johannes Gutenberg.
Here's the title page. Just got this.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Beautiful doves.
The Gutenberg parenthesis.
Isn't that font beautiful? That's
Which
doves.
font? Doves? Oh, that's the one that
Doves
Fleischman
Bible.
got you. Nice.
It's gorgeous. Just love that.
Nice.
It's
So that's
lovely.
Neva. Let's look at Google's results here. Lots of pictures. Born in Mainz. The Wikipedia article is the primarily knowledge graph here. Printing press, world history, ThoughtCo also, biography.com. I think they're comparable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Except for one's in light mode, one's in dark mode. But that's how we can
As
tell.
a migraine person,
I know. I don't
just
like it
like,
either.
too
I'm with
much.
you. All right, wait a minute. Let me just
Did that to make me like Neva better.
yeah, I did. I was, just blatantly. Now I can't find where I said it. Oh man, I'm stuck with it. Oh, Jeff
Newman.
So you think comparable? Yeah, as a Gutenberg expert,
For that.
it's roughly the same results.
The write-up is interesting.
All
Just
the
saw
circuits.
myself over Ant's head in the studio.
I can't help you there. I don't know why. Ant's got
are you having a
very,
stroke?
Ant's,
Over his head.
I just want
in
to
the
compare
studio
the
is
size
my
of
picture.
Ant's head to your head.
Oh,
Oh, there is a
it's
picture.
right up
you.
there.
That's right up there.
I
just-
put that
sorry, I just-
beautiful dark-haired
What's
picture
that?
of you.
Who's that person? Now we
floating.
can't hear Leo.
It shows malapropism and like
At
tech
last,
fails.
At
There, you're
last,
back.
we can't hear
Now we hear
Leo.
you.
All right, I'll have more about Neva at some point. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
interesting
interesting.
I wonder how it's doing business-wise. Business.
They just added the chat, AI stuff. They're not using Chat GPT, although, and we were talking about OpenAI, they have said now they've finally figured out, well, we better start charging for Chat GPT. And much like DALL-E, they're going to have a premium version that you get credits and you pay for credits.
But so this is what so I saw a librarian in Mastodon come in and say that she had more than once now she's had students come to her and say, I got this from ChatGPT. I would like to read the things that are referenced
love
here.
that.
Yeah, no, wait. ChatGPT had the people were real, but every reference was made up. Every book title was made up.
What?
Okay. Yes.
That's terrible. That is one thing,
man.
by the way, Neva. That's why the footnotes, they have it right there
Yeah, that's
where
why
we
it's
got the
important.
information. I think that's really important. So this is the real problem with ChatGPT, and they've never asserted anything is factual. by the
Not
way.
at all. Not at all. It's a word predictor. That's it.
You shouldn't assume that.
No.
I love
So
it that it
this
can
is
predict
where-
non-existent sources.
That's great, isn't it? He should write this book. He just doesn't know it yet.
This is where the Wolfram Alpha thing comes into play because he talks about being able to teach Chat GPT using Wolfram Alpha
Oh, that's interesting.
as it explains it. So you can do the search in two places, and then when Chat GPT feeds you weird stuff, you pull in the Wolfram Alpha stuff. Well, I'm having a hard time saying these words.
Get ready for this.
Anyway.
Our
right.
sponsor, Mint Mobile, is owned by Ryan Reynolds, the movie star. He tweeted this just yesterday. You knew it was just a matter of time until we did this. He used ChatGPT to write this ad.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile. We're always looking for ways to save you money. So this year, we're kicking things off with an ad that I created using ChatGPT, the AI technology. This is what I asked it to write. I said, write a commercial for Mint Mobile in the voice of Ryan Reynolds. Use a joke, a curse word, and let people know that Mint's holiday promo is still going, even after the big wireless companies have ended theirs. This is what it wrote. Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here. Eerie. First of all, let me just say Mint Mobile is the But here's the thing. All the wireless companies out there are ending their holiday promos, but not Mint Mobile. We're keeping the party going because we're just that damn good. Give Mint Mobile a try. And hey, as an added bonus, if you sign up now, you'll get to hear my voice every time you call customer service. Just kidding, that's not really a thing. And stay classy, everyone. That is mildly terrifying.
Okay.
All right. That's
Now,
pretty good.
I have to say, Ryan Reynolds,
if it's true,
is a genius. I didn't really appreciate him until I realized he started his own ad agency, and a lot of this stuff is like that ad is from a brilliant Canadian ad agency owned and run by Ryan Reynolds. Great ad. B, a very good demonstration of ChatGPT.
C, how's his gin, Stacey?
Oh, his gin is actually pretty good.
Aviation. Is that his gin?
Aviation is his gin. It's a nice gin. It's not like the best gin. But
It was for a while.
What did he do with that Peloton commercial? Wasn't that the one?
Yeah,
where
he did the Peloton. He's obviously very. I don't want to say tech savvy, but he pays it. I think he knows some of his audience must. Yeah, because he responded very quickly to that Peloton ad with the
sad lady.
And here's what Neva says: Ryan Reynolds was involved in the Peloton ad controversy by providing.
Oh,
look at that! And then with 3 sources from Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Today.com, and ET Online. I have not yet found a counterfactual summary from Neva, by the way. So,
asking about vaccinations.
Oh, what should I say? Is the COVID vaccine safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Say 30.
Now, this is that hesitation I was telling you about. It doesn't do anything.
I thought it was like calling.
It's interesting. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, like,
so put in COVID vaccine.
But look at this verified. Neva verifies government sites, nonprofits, and educational institutions and shows them with a verified label.
The Hill is awful.
Well, yeah, but I think the rest of these, Hopkins
AOL,
Medicine,
go back up there.
CDC,
go to the right. See who else is in there.
These are news sources. Yeah. I don't think those are the verified sources it's talking about. It's the results here. See this verified Johns Hopkins, verified CDC.
But then it gives you all these Reddit
Clinic.
threads. Which...
Harvard is not verified, as it shouldn't be.
Right.
No, I'm only speaking as a Yale man. Health.
The LA Times isn't verified?
But CDC, yeah, but I think they want to do it with government. Yeah. You know what? It shouldn't be verified because it's a news organization, right? So what should I say instead?
Just say COVID vaccination safety. Try as a search rather than
You're trying to get it to say something bad. Here's the AI.
Here we go.
COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. By the way, Moderna has decided that the market will allow it to 10 times its fee. How do you say that? Increase its fee by an order of magnitude. This is good. This is using Hopkins, CDC, really and Harvard. Anyway, I'm just saying. I like it. So, OpenAI getting more money from Microsoft. OpenAI expects to make $200 million in 2023. Now, remember, they have billions of dollars invested. But that's a good start. Yeah. Microsoft wants 49% of OpenAI. Why? They would like to start putting OpenAI results into Bing. This is why Google's nervous about this, Jeff, to answer your question. They would like to use it in Microsoft Office. There are lots of places that...
I would love for it to, if they could teach it how to show me stuff in Excel, that would be handy. Like to be able to...
Have you tried that?
In ChatGPT?
I bet it can.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like if I had Excel open.
Exactly. Show me how to do that. And Microsoft might be doing that. Here's a wild story. So last week on Security Now, Steve said, if you have your LastPass Vault, which you do if you download it, there is stuff you can see in there about, things you might want to know about what version and what PBKDF2 iterations, etc. It's in an XML file, and he called on his audience, somebody write an XML file interpreter so we can have a program people can use for this. One of our listeners had ChatGPT write it, in Microsoft's PowerShell scripting language, and then gave it to Steve. They worked on a slightly modified. Steve said this is the best one. We had a number of them from people who are very accomplished programmers who wrote it from scratch who were probably pissed off.
Wow.
But the ChatGPT PowerShell script, with a couple of exceptions where it was off, it was wrong, or it didn't know how to do something, was actually it was a starting point.
Okay.
So meanwhile,
here's the techno panic question.
Yeah.
Is this going to eliminate some jobs down the road for people, that are trying to work at Google and help figure out this whole search engine algorithm? Or
initially it makes a lot of jobs to start as they freak out.
Well, I think you just have to learn you have to learn how to adapt to this. So as a journalist, even being able to look stuff up in Google is both a blessing and a curse, because you don't have to come to me for regular facts and what happened anymore. Now you have to come to me as a journalist for an understanding of trade-offs or whatever else, right? You have to come deliver more. So I think people just have to get smarter. This will take away some parts of their job, but that just gives you room to grow.
You add value.
Whether it's AI results or Google results, you still need to freaking verify all of the sources.
So humans add value. And I think that's good. I mean, if I were an illustrator, I might worry a little bit about Midjourney and Stable Diffusion.
Well, photographers, as a photographer, you're screwed, Ant. We'll just put it that way. But
I don't feel that way.
I wrote a post about this a week or so ago where I think that as a teacher, we're going to end up teaching the skill of prompt writing.
Yes. Yeah. And that makes sense.
That's the new programming, right?
Yeah.
Programming is telling the machine what you want it to do in a very specific way. Writing a prompt will be a way to tell the machine what you want in a way. So on the rundown 52, I have the New York school system has blocked ChatGPT, which is just short-sighted and stupid, because it's to your question, Ant, it should be saying, well, what new skills are opened up by this? One smart teacher I saw said that what he would do, rather than I saw another school district in Florida say, here's all the ways to stop students from cheating and make sure they're writing the stuff. Another way is to say to the student, go ask ChatGPT the question, now come back and fact check it.
Yeah.
Now come back and write a critique of it. Now come back and improve it.
There's some real
Where did it go wrong? Where did it get right?
Yeah.
How can we optimize this? I totally agree.
That's how schools have dealt with Wikipedia historically as well, right?
Wait, now I want to go ask my child how ChatGPT is being handled in school.
I'd be very curious.
Okay, good. While you're
and
doing
get a waffle while you're doing it.
Yeah,
Stacey, we know your tricks.
We know what's up.
We get it.
If she's chewing when she comes back, From Jason Howell, our producer, this story, he used to work at CNET. This is answer to your question. I would worry, Ant, if I was a writer at CNET. CNET is quietly publishing entire articles generated by AI. They started doing this in November. Articles, this is from The Byte. The articles under the unassuming appellation of CNET money staff.
I wonder if that's, and I don't mean to sound totally ignorant on this, but maybe this is like an additional product. It's just like,
they don't.
Here's the AI. This is what the AI did for your entertainment.
They don't say anything. They just say
Reuters and the AP have been using it for years now
for sports,
to do sports and finance.
Financial, yeah.
And
do you
Bloomberg
think
too,
so?
I'm sure.
That's interesting. My child, by the way, has not dealt with ChatGPT at all, so that was a bust.
Okay.
But
how's the waffle?
I didn't get a waffle.
You got a
I didn't
cookie?
have enough time to get it. No, I'm not hungry yet. It's still early.
Oh, good.
I've got to save room for my dinner. Now I'm distracted.
Sorry.
CNET is revealing, I guess, that the articles are generated by automation in some cases. And it was things like, what are NSF fees and why do banks charge them? Should you break a CD early for better rate? And you'll see in the search results, this article was generated using automated technology and thoroughly edited and fact-checked by an editor on our editorial staff.
Good. All right, fine.
So that's cool. Did you see the company that did for online therapy was sending people to GPT chat? And this is, so I think if an AI is going to do something, I do think we still need to distinguish right now between an AI writing something or offering you something. than a person. In some ways, it might be better, right?
Well, Stacey, what was interesting about that story was that people liked the ChatGPT responses until they found out it was a computer, and then they disliked them.
It's freaky.
B, the academics I know were appalled because it was a company doing it. There was no IRE, not IRE. What do you
IRB.
IRB,
Internal Review Board.
People didn't know this was being done to them, and this was about their mental health. But Ant, you want to get worried? Look at line 55 and see how, and Leo especially, since he's a professional voice. That's going
Is this the 3-second thing?
We talked a little bit about this too. Val-E, which is weirdly like Wall-E. These are language models trained with 3 words to generate samples that sound like you. So here is, let me give you an example. This is from the Microsoft demo on GitHub. The speaker prompt, and then we'll give you the machine version of it, and then the final version. Here's the speaker prompt.
He descended the ladder and found himself soon upon firm rock.
Okay.
They moved thereafter cautiously about the hut, groping before and about them to find something to show that Warrington had fulfilled his mission.
So they only had 3 seconds of the speaker.
He descended the ladder and found himself soon upon firm rock.
Unrelated to the language, sentence they're going to do. The ground truth. Now, baseline.
They moved thereafter cautiously about the hut, groping before.
That's the machine voice of it.
And about them to find something.
Here's the final synthesized Valley version, taking the human speaker and applying it to the baseline. We've seen this before. They call the human speaker prompt the prosody. And this is what Valley comes up with.
They moved thereafter cautiously about the hut, groping before and about them to find something to show that Warrington had fulfilled his mission.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Amazon has Polly, and it's pretty good.
Says Mr. Voice. It's okay.
Well,
anytime someone takes, like, I think I told y'all that I had a friend of mine who, this was years ago, ran all of my writing through basically a neural net and then created something that wrote like I did. And it was like ChatGPT.
Was it your voice?
It was very accurate to my voice.
Yeah.
But I also found it incredibly creepy.
Right.
And I told him, I was like,
is that the Uncanny Valley creepy? Like
what? Right.
It's close but no cigar. Like,
well, I took it. No, it wasn't Uncanny Valley. It felt like a violation of that I was so easily. I mean, it was kind of like insulting, I guess. Like I was so easily replicated by it.
If I were in the middle of my career, I would be worried, but I'm not. Thank God.
Well,
and so I'm actually
books.
welcoming my new overlord.
I was worried about deception. Like, I mean, it's kind of like a deep fake problem.
When Adobe had this back during I believe it was back in the Obama administration with their AI tools inside of Adobe Audition, they put up an example of him speaking.
I remember that
wasn't him speaking.
Yeah.
And of course that raised a lot of concerns of getting that product in the wrong hands to issue some pretty scary commands out there that could cause problems.
Well, I think we have to adjust how we determine the veracity of what we're seeing, reading. We already know about reading, right? And hearing. And we just, there have been people putting up fake Photoshops of me for years. I mean, it's just, that's always been doable. And you just have to tune your spidey sense. Here's an example of speaker emotion maintenance from Valley. So they're going to get a single sentence. We have to reduce the number of plastic bags. They got the speaker to deliver it in a variety of emotional states. This is angry.
Her face was against his breast.
Notice, by the way, that's not the same prompt. It's just his prosody. Now, Valley applying that to the generated sentence.
We have to reduce the number of plastic bags.
Here's Sleepy.
Down and in.
Notice the whole key to this is just a parlor trick. Is how these are 3-second snippets, right?
We have to reduce the number of plastic bags.
Yeah, this
is
terrible.
That does not work.
No, amused.
So
that's what Carnegie did.
Let me do it again.
That's what Carnegie did. We have to reduce the number of plastic bags.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's bad.
All right.
It is terrible. Because I was worried about like taking 3 seconds of my voice, generating something, and then talking to like my Madam A or my Google to get access to my calendar, for example.
That would be kind of an interesting parlor trick.
That's interesting.
But I got to tell you, there is better work being done. In fact, Apple this week announced AI-narrated audiobooks. And this is
caused much discussion in the Mastodon.
Yeah, very interesting, because the idea is there are a lot of books that will never have an audio version because it's too expensive. The publisher, they're out of date, whatever. So Apple now is selling, I've listened to a few of them, audiobooks that are, in fact, they even pitch authors. Look, you can't afford a professional narrator. Don't worry. You can choose a voice and try it out. The voices are quite good. There are voices for fiction and nonfiction.
Do you have an example you can play for us?
I do. In fact, I'll play what Apple offers you. And then I can play a sample of an actual book if you want to hear it. Well, let me see. Maybe I'll have to do that. If you search on Apple Books is just like Audible. In fact, most of the books are from Audible.
Can I use Apple Books without Apple?
Yeah, I bet. Books.apple.com. You have to have a credit card. Oh, can you listen to them without an iPhone is what you're asking?
Yeah.
Probably not. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I wonder if you have to be an Apple ecosystem, at least use an Apple ID.
Yeah, I have to search. Let me, how did I do this? I did it yesterday on MacBreak Weekly. Let me think how I get to, because I'm on a Linux machine. Because you can search, when you go to Apple Books, you can say, I want an AI narrator and search for it. But I'll tell you what, I'll play it from my iPhone because I have some. And it's quite good. We found a book about lumberjacks, which, in all likelihood...
A romance, perhaps?
Well, I thought it might be, but in fact, it's not. It's... although there are quite a few lumberjack romance novels for some reason.
Who would have thought?
But in this case, it was actually something more up your alley, a history of the lumberjack.
Well, hell.
Oh, my God. Okay, why a romance featuring lumberjacks is way better than a history of the lumberjacks.
Yes.
My goodness.
Says Stacey, who moved up to lumberjack territory.
Even I would agree with you.
But, I mean, the way y'all were talking about it, like, it's a surprise their romance is featuring lumberjacks. I mean, my God, the brawny paper towel guy, y'all.
I'm guessing there isn't a brownie paper towel guy romance thing. But let me, here's one, I don't know what this is. This is a romance, Shelter from the Storm. This is narrated by Apple Books, which means by an AI.
Stories that lift me up and make me smile. And that's why I created Port Provident, a town for all of us to visit for a sweet escape. I'd like to invite you to join that reader community today. Just go to...
So, it's not...
I can still tell it's fakey, yeah.
But it's certainly listenable, right?
It is listenable. It's kind of like, when you get the books that are off IP, like the crappy versions of books that are old.
Well, here's the lumberjack.
There's Libra.
Here's the lumberjack.
Libra.
You want to hear? You want to hear some lumberjack history?
And more recently, lumberjacks in eastern Canada, loggers in British Columbia. Of the 3 interwoven ages of eastern Canadian logging, the first belonged to the bearded square timbermen, who hewed great bulks of white and red pine and drove them in huge rafts down the rivers to Quebec City.
I think that's as good as any narrator's going to do with that content, to be honest with you.
Are they in British Columbia or are they in Quebec City?
I didn't write the book. I don't know. There's a lot of romance novels.
Right, Stacey?
How about Sleigh Bells? Here's one, Sleigh Bells on Bread Loaf Mountain. Let's listen to that.
Full of designer labels and, along with them, the kid gloves necessary to handle the drama queens in her life.
Yeah, see, that voice I don't like as well. There's 4 different voices, 2 for fiction, 2 for non-fiction.
Can you pick them as a reader or
no? The author picks them. How about a Capon Valley Sampler by Willard Wiltz?
To rely on. Mr. Cauty was right. Some of these pieces depend heavily on casual talks I had with him. and with neighbors.
It is a little mechanical.
Robotic.
But a
It is
lot better
like
than the old
Ben
ones.
Stein.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like Ben
the other
Stein
thing
reading.
is-
I don't know. I laughed at Ben Stein. Come on.
Bueller.
I was on the board of what is now Learning Ally, was recording for the blind and dyslexic. And
Well, imagine
my
for that.
aunt was too.
This
is huge,
critical.
right?
It's huge. And they've been using electronic voices for quite some time. So to improve
If
that
you're
matters.
blind, you're kind of used to that. But this will make it much, much better, I think.
But as somebody reminded me to, volunteers from the beginnings of it was World War I.
Yeah.
Would go in and record the books.
Yeah.
A lot of the value, especially for textbook material, is description.
Yes.
It's describing the photo, describing the chart,
Well,
explaining it credibly. Which a machine I don't think
machine
should be
could
able
do
to for a
that.
long
No,
time.
I think a machine could do a
Think
pretty
so?
credible description of a photograph. Yeah.
I don't know, because they're going to miss nuance. Like, let's say you have a picture of like an older woman and a younger person together bent
Turn it
over a
into
counter.
romance.
We have a sponsor.
know.
We had a sponsor for a long time that was designed for making websites accessible. And one of the things they did
Right.
was image recognition and give you a simple description of that image, which for the most part, my experience was pretty good. And then you could add to it. And you're right. There are times, human nuance is going to. But the point is, humans are expensive. And if you had, for instance, the Project Gutenberg list of open source books, which now include the entire works of Sherlock Holmes, and nobody has ever narrated those, better to have a good AI narrator than none at all.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
All right, let's take a little break. Stacy has to go to a meal.
It's always my fault. Stacy needs waffles. Stacy is tired.
Jeff Jarvis
It's more like
has
Stacey's trying to
Cacio and
deserting
Pepe
us.
waiting for him. There's a bottle of brown liquor waiting for Aunt Pruitt, and I've got to go see a man about a dog. So we're going to take a break now.
I have dogs from TikTok. We'll get to that.
Oh, dogs from TikTok next. But first, a word from our sponsor, and a good one. It is a company I've been using for a decade or more. I've been trying to get them on the show forever because they make the best email app out there. Not app, service. Okay, I have said for a long time, if you care about email, and who doesn't? But if you're a business especially, if you care about email, why are you using free email from Google or Yahoo or, heaven forfend, AOL or Microsoft, where they're snooping on you, where they're putting ads in your email? Pay a little bit, as little as $3 a month, and get real email from somebody who cares about your privacy. Fastmail. I love Fastmail. I have never, there's no chance in the world I would ever leave Fastmail now. I moved to Fastmail more than a decade ago and have never stopped using it. Great productivity features. Your personal data is safe, kept away from third parties. GDPR compliant. All your data is stored in the U.S. They've got much better spam filters and absolutely no ads, especially if you use those spam filters to keep the ads out of your email. Masked email, I love this, protects your personal data by allowing you to create multiple addresses to use when you sign up for various websites. I actually have more than a dozen websites that I have the domain name, and I moved the hosting to Fastmail, the DNS to Fastmail, so that I can use those email addresses. Some of them are secret. I don't even want to tell you about, but let's say Leoville.com. Anything that comes to @Leoville.com comes into my Fastmail inbox. I can sort it by the source. I can sort it by the address it's emailed to. So when I sign up for an account with a new company, I always use the company's name @Leoville.com or other. I have even shorter ones that I use more often. I just think this is a huge benefit. You can really keep track of who's got your email address and what they're using it for. And if you're somebody like Steve Gibson who changes his email address yearly, you'll love Fastmail. It makes it easy, and the Fastmail filtering system, which is incredibly powerful, means you can say, I only want to see email from people who know my real address, that kind of thing. In fact, one of the great filters I've turned on in Fastmail is I can say, if you're not in my Fastmail contacts, you're not important. I have an important folder. All of you go into it because you're in my email addresses. Fastmail can manage your contacts and addresses instead of Google, in addition to Google, or in addition to Apple. But if you want to get off of those guys and have Fastmail do it, they have exactly the same calendar syncing, contact syncing. I have all my addresses in Fastmail. It makes it very easy to send email. And as I said, it makes it very easy to filter email. They do both folders and labels. So Google's Gmail is labels only. Traditional IMAP, which is Fastmail does, is folders only. They've got the best of both worlds. So you can have, if you use folders, every piece of mail has exactly one folder that it belongs to. If you use labels, you can have multiple labels per email, so a single email can show up in a variety of different places. It's very powerful. They have a wonderful webmail solution that you can customize with colors, custom swipes. They have, don't tell Jeff, night mode, and more. And their apps, their iOS and Android apps, that's all I use. They're fantastic. Organize your inbox, scheduled send, snooze, folders, labels, search bar. Keep track of the important details in your life with Fastmail's powerful sidebar. The calendar and address book can live there as well. Notes, too. You manage your own domain if you want. Fastmail also has many domains that you can use, so you can always use obfuscated. In fact, if you use Bitwarden, which is, of course, one of our sponsors as a password manager, or 1Password, they work with Fastmail to automatically generate not only unique passwords for every account, but unique emails for every account, which really is a great way to add security to every single login. Fastmail's fantastic. US-based support team, and they are email experts. They're not just somebody reading out of a script. They know email, and they're always within reach. And because you're a customer, not a product, they're there to serve you. I use Fastmail. I love Fastmail. I highly recommend Fastmail. Advertisers are left out. Your privacy is the focus. I've tried them all. There is no better email service out there. And don't worry about losing information. When you move to Fastmail, download your old data, import it to your new Fastmail inbox, or have Fastmail go pick up mail from the old location and move it into your Fastmail inbox. You'll want to do that because of Fastmail's capabilities. They're so powerful, it makes email usable again. It's so important to me. You can set up scripts. They actually have a scripting language for filtering. You don't have to use it. I use it because I love it. I've used it for years. Fastmail is also uses open source technology. Their Cyrus IMAP server. They contribute back to the Cyrus project. They're even moving email forward with new internet standards. They are a very active player in internet and open source, and I love that about them. New year, new you. I know you want to do this. I know if you've been planning to do it. Do it now. Make email yours. Reclaim your privacy, boost productivity. Make email yours with Fastmail. I don't know how to say it any more strongly. It is, you will thank me. It is absolutely worth it. You could try it free for 30 days, so just at least try it. Fastmail.com/twit. I know the idea, just like moving a password manager, moving to a new email provider is a little scary. You don't have to get rid of the old one. You can keep it going. You can even, as I said, get mail from Gmail and move it over as it comes in and all that stuff. So, in fact, for a long time, I ran Fastmail in parallel with Gmail, and I have my mail go through Gmail to have the spam filtering from Gmail before it went to Fastmail. I turned that off some years ago because Fastmail's got the best. Their anti-spam is so good. It's actually better than Google's. Fastmail.com/twit. Please use that address. Fastmail.com/twit, so they know you saw it here. We want to keep them as a sponsor forever because I'm going to be using Fastmail forever. Fastmail.com/twit. If you go to that address, you'll also get a 15% discount on the whole first year, as little as $3 a month. I love Fastmail. I buy it 3-year chunks because I know I'm going to be using it forever. So every 3 years I re-up. I use a professional version. I spend any penny I can with Fastmail because it's that good. Fastmail.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support and providing a really great service. You remember the Soyuz capsule on the space station that started leaking coolant? It turns out it did. All of it. It has no cooling system left on it. And there are a bunch of astronauts up there.
Oh, boy.
They're not the Russian and state-owned space corporation, Roscosmos, and NASA have announced that they are not going to attempt to fly anybody home in that capsule. because it has no cooling, it would be bad. So Sergei Prokopyev, Dmitry Petelin, and NASA's Frank Rubio, who are living in the Soyuz MS-22 spacecraft, will be coming home in a new spacecraft. They're going to fly up to it later in the year, and then the leaky vehicle will come back empty, bereft of crew, likely in March. They're actually not living in the Soyuz. They live in the space station, but that was how they were going to get home.
But imagine you're an astronaut now. You are dependent upon Putin and Musk.
I know. Yeesh.
That is really scary.
They believe that it was a tiny meteor fragment or some space junk whizzing around, something about a millimeter, tiny little thing in diameter that burst the cooling. This is how dangerous it is. Yeah, it's very dangerous up there.
I feel like that happened in Hail Mary.
I think you might be right.
Exact thing.
I think you might be right.
Tiny millimeter particles causing
headlines.
problems.
Ripped straight from the headlines. I can't wait to talk with you about Project Hail Mary. I think you have a slightly differing opinion about it than Ant and I do.
I think I do. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow, 9 a.m.
Watch the interview I did with Andy Weir when that book came out, on a triangulation, because I had talked to him for a while. He's great. I love Andy. He's the guy who wrote The Martian. He took a little detour with Artemis, which was about a moon base. I liked a lot, but it was a different kind of story, and I think people wanted more of The Martian.
I liked Artemis.
I did too.
And
it was very different.
I believe that was Rosario Dawson. Is that her name?
Did they make a movie out of it?
She was the she was the narration.
Oh, she read it.
Audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
There is a movie coming of Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling will play the lead.
Ken?
Yeah, Ken.
You sound thrilled.
Well,
he's Ken in the new Barbie movie.
Ken, yes, Ken will be in it. He's a perfect Ken. He's not kind of perfect for the book too, because the guy's a goody two shoes. Right?
Grace.
What's his name?
Grace.
Dr.
Grace.
Oh yeah, Dr. Grace. Yeah. Anyway, we will be talking about it tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. I don't know what that is. 9 plus 8 is 1700 UTC. If you're in the club, you got to be in the club. If you're not in the club, join the club. It's not too late.
That's right.
Twit.tv/club. $7 a month. You can just buy 1 month and then, don't worry about it. $7 is worth it to join the book club. We're going to have a lot of fun. And it's always fun to see me because I don't usually bathe beforehand or shave.
It's always fun to see Leo.
Or brush my hair. So it's like you get early morning,
I'm just glad
Leo.
you do those from your house.
Yeah. Hey, early morning, Leo. It'll be fun.
I think it's always fun to see me because 9 a.m. is actually the perfect time.
Yeah.
for waffles.
No, you're wonderful.
Yes.
You're wonderful. And it's your club. So I'm just a guest. I will bathe this time. Tomorrow morning, Project Hail.
It's virtual.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Television.
We actually, since we're talking about the club, we are also going to interview on February 10th another one of my favorite sci-fi authors. He's going to be in studio with us. The great, the wonderful Daniel Suarez, the author of Demon and Freedom TM. His new book is called Critical Mass. It's the sequel to Delta Force V, which was a wonderful book. Daniel's new book comes out in a few weeks. He's going to join us, I think, the week of the release on February 10th for a live interview. Part of that will appear on Triangulation. Part of it will appear on Ask the Tech Guys. But all of it will appear in the club, and you'll have a chance to ask him your own questions as well on February 10th at 11 a.m.
I know his book series is old, but I still believe we should have a Freedom and Demon TV series.
Freedom and Demon they grabbed you from the very first sentence of Freedom, Demon was the first one. It grabbed you and dragged you through the novel. It was so good. It was so good. The premise was kind of like Ready Player One, but it preceded it. A very talented and famous. Should I not say? Is it a spoiler to say what it's about? I think you.
No, it's an old book.
I think you learn pretty quickly. He has passed away, right? And but his house lives on.
Yes.
And I'll just leave it at that. It's fantastic. Daniel's a great writer. I love him. He's a great friend. So, in fact, he's going to be up here for a little extra time to do This Week in Space, too, because he's a Mars fanatic the day before. And then we're going to go to lunch with him, and we'll have a little bit of a powwow in the club. So, if you like sci-fi, this is the right place to be. twit.tv/clubtwit. That's not an ad, so you don't have to cut that out. We always debate this.
If you like sci-fi, so do we.
Yeah. Well, we always debate this because we cut the ads out of the Club Twit feed. And then I'm not going to, if I do an ad for Club Twit, we cut that out. But was that an ad or just more talking about it? I think
that's talking about the community.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for, is that community.
I am ready to move to Great Britain. Actually, there are a lot of reasons not to.
Yeah, these days.
Many. But this one's good news. I wish our FCC would do this. If you're building a new home in England, you have to have a gigabit-ready internet connection built in with it.
That's awesome, right?
That is. I mean, you don't.
That is true.
Where do you get it from if you live in a town that doesn't have it?
Well, it's part of the big building regulations.
BT.
Yeah, BT, right, British Telecom. New homes in England must now be built with gigabit broadband connections. New laws mean home buyers, renters, and some leaseholders will be able to get lightning-fast connections, holding landlords accountable. Right on.
Hopefully there's not a lot of gouging going
Connection
on,
costs will be capped at £2,000. That's about $2,400 for developers. If a developer building a new property is unable to secure a gigabit-ready connection at or below that price, they'll have to install the next fastest connection available, but they'll still have to install the necessary infrastructure so the property can handle it. In other words, ducting and things like that, so that it can handle it in the future. 98% of premises, according to the English government, will fall within that cost cap. Moving into a new build property without lightning-fast internet speeds will become a thing of the past for the vast majority of people across England. Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, screw you. Just England. Just England.
Because that's all it's going to be soon.
Yeah.
That's the rest of them.
That's right. Everybody is going to leave.
The EU.
Go back to the EU. So why can't we do that? If England can do that, why can't we do that?
Because we are enthralled to the telco operators. This is something that we've talked about. Also, I will say, in many areas, well, not in many areas, in rural areas, it is actually a problem to get fiber out to, like, we have areas of the country where very few people live. That would cause some challenges, but mostly it's because the FCC has historically not forced the telcos to actually meet their broadband promises. Even today, we just got a new broadband map that's actually, and they're like, oh, the broadband providers have been lying about how much broadband and where they offer.
Oh, my God.
I saw the head of the FCC at an event that was off the record, so but fine. And she went on about that, about saying the broadband map has been really bad, and by God, it was one of her first priorities was to get it right.
Jessica Rosenworcel met with me when I was at GigaOM at a South by Southwest and was like, how can I help you tell the story about this?
Oh, my God.
And I was like, how can I tell you? Like, she was like, what do we need to do? What are you hearing? And I loved her for that because because my whole thing about broadband reporting was consumers. Like, we have to talk. We had to take up consumer rights, right?
Was she was a commissioner of the SEC at the time?
Yes.
And she's now the chair.
That was when she was a commissioner.
Yeah.
Now she's the chair.
Well, God bless her. So your impression of her was good, I take it.
Yeah, she pushed things that, again, it is such a hard thing to go against the telcos because they have such a lock on Congress. And they're just like jobs. And in many places, like I know with AT&T, they still tell people how to vote. Like that's a huge voting block in big parts of the country. So
wait a minute. If AT&T calls me and says, hi, I'm AT&T, I'm going to tell you how to vote.
No, they tell their employees how to vote.
Oh, their employees. Okay. Because I would just go the opposite. Whatever they said, I would do the opposite.
Well, yes.
But I guess
it's totally fair.
If they sign your paycheck, it might be a different matter entirely.
All right.
That's terrible.
No one knows how you
vote. Different incentive, right?
Well, I mean, and they're like, AT&T tells their employees, like, if you don't let this happen, you know, if you vote against this, it will hurt your job.
Yeah. I actually, so one of the reasons I'm glad not to do the radio show anymore is it was owned by iHeart. And we would get periodic emails from Bob Pittman, the CEO, saying, please give money to our PAC so that we can buy congressmen and women so that we will get our way in Congress. And I thought that was offensive.
Did they check to see whether you had?
Well, I think you donated through them, so they would know, I think, yeah. I mean, there was no, I never did, of course, and I never got, reprimanded for not, but maybe a lower level employee or, might.
Well, an actual on-staff employee.
But I think this is normal. This is normal operations for big business in America. They have PACs, and they want, well, so do unions for that matter, right? They have PACs, and they want. I would show you the email, but I can't get in anymore. They locked me out. So, which is right. I don't work for them anymore, so that's okay. Let's talk about tech gone wrong. It's the new segment, Tech Gone Wrong.
Also known as AI?
Known as moral panic.
Also known, well, you might agree with this one, Jeff.
We'll see.
The FAA had to ground thousands of flights overnight.
Oh, man.
Because there was a system-wide outage of one of the most important systems that they run.
Yeah, by the time you woke up, it was fixed. But
9 a.m. Eastern, it was fixed. The thing is called NOAM or NOAM.
Well, this is part of it. It is notice to
NOTAMs.
NOTAM.
To airmen.
NOTAMs.
But then Buttigieg changed it to air mission to de-gender it. And, of course, the Republicans are going after that. Well, he did that, but he didn't fix it.
Okay. Well, it's airmen or air missions. No, in any way, what it does, it's critical to planning flights. It's shares before you file a flight plan, you get the NOTAM to make sure you're not flying into a hazard on the air or on the ground, closed runways, airspace restrictions, navigational signal disruptions. Created in 1947 when there were airmen. Now it's air missions. Anyway,
well, even then, what's her name? Got lost.
Yeah, well, that's why she wasn't an airman.
What's her name? Amelia Earhart?
That one.
Who we're talking about?
I'm old. I forget stuff.
We don't know names. It's not gendered. It's just we don't know any names. Johannes Gigelberg or whatever.
Get it out of it. What's her name?
Well, what I thought was kind of crazy about this is the computer system went down, so they reverted to phone calls, and that worked because they had an old phone system, but then the phone system was overloaded as
they didn't have enough.
Oh, my God.
Which makes sense. But I was like, so it didn't totally fail. But I was really curious, like, do we know if it was a cyber attack yet?
No evidence of a cyber attack, according to President Biden. He did ask Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, to report back when a cause for failure has been identified.
Canada's went down today too, unrelated.
Oh, is it though?
But I don't want to start conspiracy theories, but yes,
that's a big coinky dink.
It is indeed.
It is. Is it a special day? What a day is it? It's the 11th, so it's 0111.
NAV Canada was struck with a brief outage just after 10 a.m. Eastern. Restored 3 hours later. No delays to scheduled flights because backup measures allowed operations to continue, according to the New York Times.
Look who has redundancy.
It's not they have redundancy. They have 3 airplanes. It's easy. You just,
They just go back and forth across
the country. One gate, they just change the sign.
They
stop in Calgary along the way.
Every flight in Canada stops in Calgary. It's part of the deal. No, they don't. It's not. There were 9,000 flights delayed yesterday, according to FlightAware. That's quite a bit. A lot of grounded planes.
Today.
Yesterday. This morning. It was overnight.
Whenever you're listening to this, it was in the past.
It's not
I'm curious
now.
to see how long this will trickle down. Because
it's always a mess.
15 minutes there,
well,
9,000 flights.
And remember that there was
it's never just 15 minutes delay.
Right. Remember there was a battle between the airlines and the telcos over 5G because the 5G radio towers transmitted on a frequency that could interfere with altimeters, which is a kind of important part of your airplane. Yeah, a little thing. Well, really, what it really was is that these old altimeters, some of them not so old, did not filter out frequencies that were completely irrelevant to them. So the 5G signals could interfere with them. According to the FAA, about 1,000 planes still have altimeters listening to signals in the wrong frequency. And they're saying, but you got a year to fix it. Don't worry. So the temporary fix between the FAA and the telcos was don't build a 5G tower near an airport. I guess we're going to have to wait another year. Anyway, AT&T and Verizon could not fully deploy 5G on the C-band. That's the spectrum that was an issue. That was C-band spectrum, cost them $69 billion between the two of them. Altimeters
this
normally...
is so irritating.
It's very irritating because it's poor design. Altimeters don't work on the C-band. They work on 4.2 to 4.4 gigahertz. C-band is lower, much, 3.7 to 3.98. But because they didn't have notch filters on the altimeters, they would get interfered with the lower frequencies. Anyway, and now we're going to give them another year to fix it. They should have designed it right in the first place, if you ask me. The Bloomberg report says lobby group Airlines for America said airlines are working diligently to ensure fleets are equipped with compliant radio altimeters, but global supply chains continue to lag behind current demand, so any government deadline must consider this reality. Anyway, the problem is really these older altimeters are ignoring the rules. They're ignoring their assigned spectrum.
It's the same thing. Yeah, we go through this every year because plenty of people make cheaper electronics by not putting effective guardrails on their spectrum usage. Yeah. And then the FCC is like, oh, hey, we want to use that for broadband. And then they're like, no,
you can't. It could hurt. So FCC has, in fact, launched an inquiry into poorly designed wireless devices that receive transmissions from outside their allotted frequencies. We'll see what happens, but it potentially could result in new regulations.
Basically, if you were designing a device that is going to use any spectrum band, you should be designing to a very stringent spec now, because we've got a couple new tech. We've got a huge need for broadband.
Yeah.
But two, we've got spectrum sharing technologies now that are highly accurate and digitized. So you can't afford to be sloppy because it's a digital world now, and you can parse it to the tiniest little hertz. So yeah, you can't be sloppy anymore. That's the moral here.
John Brodkin, writing for Ars Technica, says traditionally the FCC only regulated transmitters, not receivers. That was a mistake, as it turns out.
Yes.
So they're gonna maybe gonna fix that after the investigation. Also, in are you yawning? Am I boring you?
I'm so sorry. We were talking about Spectrum. I love it.
This is your stuff.
Yeah.
I put this in just for you.
I gave up caffeine for New Year. I'm sorry.
No, you did? Really? What's wrong with you? Yeah. That's nuts. My New Year's resolution was to drink more coffee.
I decided I stopped.
Does it make you jittery?
So I stopped drinking coffee.
Does it make you jittery?
I just wanted to see if I could do it. It's like a dry January for caffeine.
Isn't it helpful for migraines?
About the Panera drinks?
Well, that's why I'm doing it, because if I can actually not be addicted to it when I have a migraine, if I chug coffee, then it'll be like, bam.
Oh, you'll get a better.
I see.
Smart.
Oh,
yeah,
that's smart.
That's the theory. I don't know if it's going to work.
Have you seen the stuff about the Panera drinks?
No.
The what?
There's hilarious TikTok.
Jeff is our fast food expert, I gotta say. Okay, TikTok.
He's just on
finally
TikTok.
Realized
TikTok time.
So people are drinking the Panera and they don't realize how the ones that are like oomphed up are really oomphed up.
Lots of caffeine and sugar too.
Lots of caffeine.
Yeah. Jeff has done. By the way, I got to point this out. So Jeff created both a TikTok section of the. You could show the rundown real quickly.
And
there is a TikTok section, and there is a TikTok corner. What is that? Just a way to get more TikTok in?
It was a way to separate the news from the fun when we need that little cleanser there.
Oh, my.
The Chipotle, what's more perfect as a Twig story than something that combines Chipotle and TikTok?
All right, I guess I will answer by playing this. Chipotle is adding the TikTok famous quesadilla hack. I didn't even know about the quesadilla hack. What?
Because you're not with the hip kids with me and TikTok.
Let's watch.
About Chipotle. That's Alexis. I love that. Chipotle heard, and it's coming to the Chipotle app.
But it's going to take a little while because they got to get it just right.
So it's coming in March.
Why is she in the back seat?
Because I'll explain. If you go to the other thing,
okay, here we go.
Go to the other one. No. Go to the next line in the rundown.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
So
this is where.
It's not a democracy, but it is Hollywood.
This is where it started.
My TikTok corner.
The only problem with TikTok is you can't rewind very easily. All right, I'm now going to play where it started.
Extra cheese.
You can rewind that. That's not that hard. You know how to use video.
No, look what happens. It stops.
Well, then shut up and it goes.
Eating what employees would order? Chipotle. Steak quesadilla with extra cheese and fajita veggies. The person that originally suggested this to me said that it tasted like a Philly cheesesteak. Combine these two.
This is Alexis.Frost.
Definitely a 10.
On TikTok. So the hack is
so this
to order at Chipotle, to order a quesadilla with steak and then add vegetables from the fajita
and extra
menu.
cheese.
And extra cheese.
Right.
Okay.
And so evidently this was causing much surus, much agita among employees at TikTok because they were like running out of beef. They were getting into fights.
You're
People
not
were yelling
supposed to
about
get
this.
fajita vegetables in your steak, dude.
Exactly. You're not supposed to do that. That's against the rules. So at first, stores were refusing and people were getting angry as hell because this is TikTok hot. And so TikTok finally relented, and now they're going to add it to the menu. And so you see those two people on the TikTok
Alexis
in their victory
Frost,
march.
Just to point this out, 1.9 million views of this video. Oh, now he's in the back seat.
Yeah, he's in the back seat, exactly.
To get the quesadilla hack put in the app.
Oh, you know why?
Wow, because we want to get it just.
Their phone doesn't have a wide enough angle camera to get them both in the front seat, so one has to sit right behind the other one.
But it is happening. The quesadilla hack is coming to the Chipotle app in March.
March is around the corner. It's coming.
That's cute, I guess.
It's cute.
Victory.
Hey, you
want
to see really cute? You want to see really cute? Dogs of TikTok, next two lines.
I'm sorry, Ann.
Oh, the dogs on the bus are fine.
Oh, they're fun. They're cute.
I followed them for ages because I guess I'm
These
geographically
dogs
close to them. and I
ride
like
a
dogs.
bus like humans, and now the internet is in love. Oh, Lord. Don't bring your dog on a bus. Is that?
Well,
no,
it's not that.
It's a company that walks
it's
dogs.
designed.
So
Walks
you
dogs.
go. They have a doggy bus. They pick up your pooch.
Oh, they
and
have
take
a
it out
bus.
for a hike.
It's not a public
Yes,
bus.
it's for the dogs.
Okay.
Then the next line on the rundown shows them getting on the bus, all happy.
Not
Happy
this one.
dogs
They
on
are
the
very
bus.
cute.
All right, let's see. The
Right,
pooch
next one
is
down.
getting
Yeah,
on
there.
because they know they're going for a walk once they get off the bus.
Yeah.
They get happy.
Okay, here they come. Oh, they're happy.
Jake.
Hi, how are you?
Morning.
Can I sit in the back this time? I would like to. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's already in my seat, man. Yeah. Hey.
Okay, here we go.
Sniff my butt.
Oh,
Thank
yep,
you.
same button.
Oh, look.
They have special seatbelts that are leashes,
They do.
which isn't going to save the dog if you get in a crash.
No.
It's just going to go flying. Okay, like a little cannonball attached to a string. Oh, here's another one. He's waiting. He's just waiting.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's happy.
Oh. Wow. So people just let their dog go outside.
Good morning, Ben.
It's in Alaska.
And
those dogs know better.
Wow.
Hey, you smell the
That is
same.
a completely different dog.
Yeah.
Where'd
Wow.
the husky go?
Well, I don't know where the huskies go, but don't you eat that yellow snow.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Oh,
Okay.
boy,
Oh, you'll face. Let me look your face.
Isn't that cute?
Do you think Kylo would enjoy this, Aunt?
Well, good morning.
Kylo would be fine. Biscuit would raise hell on that.
Yeah. I imagine they have to throw people off the
always the
bus
little dog.
sometimes, like
People?
well,
Dogs.
dogs are people too. All right, that's enough of this.
Okay. That was TikTok Corner, folks.
It's TikTok
We need a
Corner.
theme.
Tied in.
I don't do it often. I do it when we find the right stuff.
Actually,
Chipotle
this is
dogs.
I'm glad you put this story in from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech did a white paper on TikTok and security and came up with the conclusion that, in fact, TikTok is not a threat to our national security.
No, it's pretty much an opinion piece.
Oh.
As a paper.
It's not a study.
Well, no, it is. But it, just to be clear, it wasn't like there was new data. It was just analyzing and going through and saying why, in their view, it's not a threat.
Yeah, we've
And they
seen
had
this.
bullet points.
Kaspersky also, and I referred to this a couple of weeks ago, had a little bit more specific research into what TikTok collects and what they don't collect. Executive summary.
TikTok is a commercially motivated enterprise, not a tool of the Chinese state. ByteDance's organizational structure reflects an attempt to segregate the Chinese market from global markets so that it can export its AI services globally. This split works to the advantage of both sides. Chinese government efforts to assert control over ByteDance's Chinese subsidiaries are targeting its domestic Chinese services, not its overseas operations. We have talked about that the Chinese version of TikTok is a different animal.
Very.
Right.
But they understand that they're trying to make money in the US and they can't do the same thing in the US that they do in China. This report did not receive any funding from TikTok, ByteDance, or any interested party. Says IGP, which is the Internet Governance Project at the University of
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Technology Institute.
So, by the way, there was a friend of mine just sent this to me. I didn't see it. There was a Times Magazine feature about TikTok and why is it in such hot water and so on and so forth. Long magazine.
It's
piece.
political.
In
right?
it,
Yeah.
it says that Zhang Jiming, who founded ByteDance, when he was 27 years old in 2010, he used a service called Douban, which was like Rotten Tomatoes and Goodreads. And he recorded the books he wanted to read. The first on the list, What Would Google Do?
Oh, congratulations.
I think that's cool.
You
I want to try to
inspired
get to him
TikTok.
and send him a autographed copy.
Wow.
Yeah, get in trouble with the Republicans.
And then just down the road from here, there's the story of the Tick Tesla on autopilot that caused a horrific. Oh, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. Let me find the other one that caused a horrific crash
That's on my rundown.
on the Bay Bridge.
On the bridge, by the way. Another reason not to go on bridges.
The Tesla.
That's not the
which,
reason.
Yes, it is.
It's not clear,
A
by
Tesla
the way.
could stop out of nowhere.
It's not clear
Could have piled
if
up.
the Tesla was on autopilot or
The
not.
driver said it was.
Driver said it was, but maybe the driver didn't want to take responsibility for suddenly
possible, too.
changing lanes all the way into the fast lane and then stopping on the brakes. Here's a video from the bridge of the car suddenly getting in the left lane and just stopping. And then
watch.
Now, you got to kind of fault the cars plowing into one another for following too close.
Up, one goes, oops, there
Yeah.
goes one above the
The
others.
9-year-old kid was injured. There were a number of injuries, none critical, but you could see all the cars. There was quite a few cars. Let's see another view from the bridge. So the car goes in the left lane suddenly and then just, boom, stops on the
See it
brakes.
up there, yeah.
This was,
Again.
by the way, ironically, the day Tesla released full self-driving to all vehicles in North America. So,
Mr. Laporte, with that being allegedly the full self-driving software, the driver couldn't intervene within those 3 seconds.
Yeah.
To
So,
say,
I'll
holy
tell you-
crap, let me hit the accelerator.
I'll tell you the truth. I wouldn't, and I had a Tesla that didn't have FSD, but I would never take my hands off the wheel. You're not allowed to. The Tesla will say, get your hands back on the wheel. And I would always keep my eye open because there's many of the time our Model X tried to plow into the dividers on the freeway or things like that. Fairly frequently, it would jam the brakes on stopping for a ghost that it saw, because it has that feature where it can keep you from running into somebody or something.
Right.
But it would often do it just with nothing going on. It happened to Lisa all the time. So I never trusted it, and I think that's a mistake, frankly, to trust it. So, I think the driver bears some responsibility, whether the driver really did leave autopilot on. At least if it starts veering over and jamming on the brakes. Problem is when it jams on the brakes, that's hard to override. That's like, at that point, it's like you're kind of out of control. So I don't know.
And you have to, if you're going so fast, you also have, like, there's that second of what the hell is happening.
There's always a second
oh my
or two
God.
of orientation. That's right.
Yep.
And then decide, and you can't, I mean, if you think about it, you can't go from a stop to a straight boom. By then, someone's probably already hit you.
But
because, I mean,
you have a Tesla. Does it have it doesn't have full self-driving.
It doesn't.
But I would say,
and I'm okay with that.
I would say that really the bottom line is here, we are all in a beta test of a not so good product, risking our lives because we don't have a choice. It's on the highways, and around in Northern California, it's every other vehicle is a Tesla.
So with lawsuits, who's going to get sued? The driver or Tesla?
Absolutely the driver, not the Tesla. No.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, the driver was still responsible for the vehicle.
You don't give up responsibility. No, that's the other story that I was about to show was a Tesla on autopilot led police on a chase because the driver was asleep.
Oh, yeah.
This is in Germany. The driver was asleep, but here's the key. The driver had attached a weight to his steering wheel so that the Tesla would think he was driving it and then took a nap. The police knew that the driver was not driving, A, because they couldn't see his head. He was reclined. But B, because every time they tried to stop the Tesla, it was traveling exactly 70 miles an hour. And if they pulled in front of it, it would slow down and speed up to match the car in front of it. The Tesla kept the same distance from the patrol car in front as they traveled down the Autobahn.
Well, wait a second. If the patrol car had just slowed to a stop,
they should have stopped. I think they must have. That's how they got the guy.
Well, unless it went to the other lane, unless it was doing that.
No, I don't think it would do that. I don't think they're that. I think you have to use your turn signal and tell it to go to another lane. Anyway, that is our segment of technology gone wrong. Unless you want to see, where did I find this? There was is it a TikTok of the Boston Dynamics doggy? Or no, it was the Boston Dynamics robot failing?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, I missed it. It was pretty funny. Oh, shoot. I think it was in another story, and I thought, I should show this later. But I don't remember where it was.
It'll make Stacy feel better.
Yeah, it will, too. You will like it. Now, here's something that's going to make you mad. Do you remember a song by a guy named Afro Man? I was gonna clean my room, but then I got high. Yeah. I was gonna go to school, but then I got high. Well, that was, how many years? 20 years ago? I don't know, 10 years ago? My kids used to listen to that.
At least a decade.
So Afro Man, I don't know if he's made $1 million on that, but he's living in a kind of, a poor county, Adams County in Ohio. And for some reason, the police decided that he had not only a lot of marijuana, but he was actually trafficking in narcotics and kidnapped somebody. So they raided his house. They broke down the door, and all he could do, he said, is make a video. This is Afro Man, his song, Will You Help Me Repair My Door? Featuring video of the Adams County Sheriff's Office dressed as if invading a Taliban stronghold.
Nice car collection.
Look at that. He's pointing his gun down behind the sofa like there's...
It's like he's going to shoot a cat.
Yeah. This was an actual raid. They found nothing except a vape pen that's... Afro Man says somebody left behind in one joint. Here they are breaking his gate to get in with their tactical vehicles. Look at this. They broke down his door. They rammed his door down.
This is hilarious.
So sad, dude.
Unless you're Afro Man, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
This is why our police force does not need to be...
They do not need to be militarized.
Training.
Yeah, this There's his, by the way, his mom made this lemon pound cake. This somewhat overweight officer is very intrigued but fortunately has a good sense not to eat the lemon pound cake.
Oh, it was tempting.
They realized after a while, they realized after a while that he had cameras in his house. They thought he was. I hope he does. I hope Afro Man does not take me down.
I make my money rapping. Why does the Warren say
They went through his closet and found some cash that Afro Man says, yeah, that was from a gig I did about 5 years ago with Snoop Dogg, and I forgot, and they paid me. I stuck it in my pocket.
Are there any kidnapping victims inside my suit pockets?
So they confiscated all the money. And then, and this I think is reprehensible, they went around and disconnected all the cameras. They realized, oh my God, everything we're doing here is being recorded by security cameras. So they...
Is there 1,000 pounds of weed in my suit pockets? Is there 1,000 pounds of weed?
He went to the... They never filed charges, of course, because...
I hope he did.
Yeah, I hope he...
He asked for his cash back. They gave him all the cash back minus $400. So they actually stole some money from him, he says. He alleges.
Oh, I'm sure that's civil forfeiture.
Yes, I'm sure it is. He has all this video of it. It's hysterical.
Has CDs?
But then they go and they start disconnecting the cameras, which I honestly... That's almost an admission of guilt, right? We don't want anybody to know what we're doing in here.
Because disconnecting the cameras means it never happens. Never mind storage on the camera.
So thank goodness Afro Man has a voice and posted this. He actually posted two songs. He also had one about his mom's lemon pound cake.
Go mom.
They say the money was miscounted. But it was, I probably, if he sues him, it'll probably be, well, it's civil forfeiture. Here's the lemon pound cake official music video. You know what? This is his only way of getting the money back.
Yeah.
Lemon pound cake. He wanna put down his Glock. Lemon pound cake. Trending on TikTok. Lemon pound cake. He's a family guy.
I have to say, I have new respect for Afro Man. He obviously
I do too.
Was not too high to make those two videos. I also think, honestly, there ought to be a little bit of retribution for the Adams County Sheriff's
something needs to be done about that.
This is not okay.
Absolutely.
This is not okay. The raid took place summer of last year. Took them a while to put the videos out. The good news is the clips and the videos have gone viral. Huge on TikTok. There are millions of views.
All joking aside, I mean, they could have killed him.
Yeah.
They're coming to his house.
Yeah, they're militarized. He was not there. He says, you terrorized my kids. They burst down they did not, ring the doorbell. Maybe the kids were told not to open the doorbell, but open the door to strangers. But he terrorized the kids, Afro Man said.
Jeez.
He was not there. So, yeah. It's sad.
Hope he has
2.4 million likes on this
lawyer.
one. Well, I think he probably does.
For exposure.
I think he probably does. And this is where TikTok, YouTube, this is another way to have a voice in the world, isn't it? We've talked before about canary warrants. In a minute, I'm going to show you the best canary warrant ever, and if you ask me. But first, a word from our sponsor, Melissa. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a business, you have lists of customer data, right? Customers, suppliers. You have lists of addresses and emails. You know those lists are going bad as we speak because people move, names change, addresses change. That is valuable information that is slowly withering away right now. You need Melissa, a leading provider of global data quality, identity verification, and address management solutions. Data quality is an actual cost center in your business. If you go to melissa.com/twit, you can use Melissa's ROI calculator. They'll show you clear information related to marketing and customer outreach that could be strained by inflation and increasing costs and deterioration of the information. A sample scenario highlights a mailing list, 50,000 recipients. That's relatively small. As many as 6,500 of them undeliverable because it's deteriorated. Melissa's address verification removes bad addresses that could save that sender as much as $23,000 on postage and material costs. That's a significant amount of money. Poor data quality can cost organizations an average of $15 million every year. And of course, the longer it goes, the more losses your business can accumulate. Your customer information has to be accurate. High quality data saves you money, makes you money. With Melissa's technologies, you can enable faster workflows because you can use their API to create auto-completion tools that stop data mistakes on entry. Whether it's by the customer or a customer service rep, you start typing, it gets corrected as you type. You can reduce undeliverable mail based on validated, standardized addresses for customers, not just in the U.S., but worldwide. You can eliminate waste and lost opportunities from incorrect mailings. You can improve customer satisfaction with seamless real-time identity verification tools. And of course, for fraud, to eliminate fraud, these tools are very important. You can match and deduplicate information to establish a single high-quality customer record, linking all the customer touchpoints for an ideal 360-degree view of each customer. Merge them all together so that one record says it all. And because they work in compliance with the United States Postal Service's move update requirements, it means you get the most current address data through processing in the USPS's National Change of Address database. It's all automatic as a Melissa customer. Since 1985, Melissa has specialized in global intelligence solutions to help organizations unlock accurate data for a more compelling customer view. And Melissa, of course, continually undergoes independent security audits because they know your data is solid gold. They protect it just like you'd want them to. SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR compliant, and regular third-party audits to ensure your data is in the best hands. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today. 1,000 records clean, free. Great way to try it out. Melissa.com/twit. On-prem, in the cloud, SaaS, secure FTP, and API. There's any way you want it. Melissa's got it. Melissa.com/twit. We thank them so much for the work they do and for supporting This Week in Google. You know what a warrant canary is? I bet Stacy knows what a warrant canary is. Stacy's my chat GPT for the week.
Sorry. Oh, crazy. It is a report that a company puts out to indicate that it has had secret warrants from the Justice Department or other entities asking about things they can't talk about.
You're not allowed to tell the world if you get one of those warrants in many cases. So a warrant canary, well, here's a perfect one from rsync, which is open source software. They even call it a warrant canary, which may be violating the law. I don't know. They say, because we would not be able to tell you, we will comply as we are required to with warrants, but in some cases we can't tell you. So we are going to update this every week. It is a cryptographically signed message that says, up to this point, no warrants have been served, nor have any searches or seizures taken place. And then they're going to put a cut and paste headline from a major news source. And this is the most recent one, January 9th. And here's the Reuters story from January 8th to prove you wouldn't know how the 76ers and the Pistons did until January 8th. So that proves that's when this was generated. Here's the PGP signature. If this disappears, they got served. So it's like a dead man switch. If this disappears from the rsync site, they can't say that they haven't had a search or seizure, so they have to take it down. I think this is the way to do it. That's brilliant. I'm going to do my own warrant canary. Not that we know anything about you.
You don't have any data on anything.
Nobody cares what you have.
Oh, darn it.
I'm totally confused by this premise.
It's the opposite.
Oh.
It's the opposite. So if you see this, you know you're good. If you don't see this, because they aren't allowed to say we got searched, right? So they can't put up what they'd like to do is put up a notice, hey, we just turned over all the information to the FBI, just so you know. They can't do that. They can't do that in many cases. Because these national safety, the security letters, what do they call them, NSLs, won't often say, and you may not disclose. And this has been a problem historically for years, thanks to the Patriot Act, for a lot of companies. They get served, but they can't say anything. So the warrant canary, they put this up. As long as it stays up, they haven't been served. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
And as soon as
Yep.
it's a dead man switch, as soon as it's gone, you're dead. I thought
It's
it was
basically saying this thing that y'all might be worried about happening has not
Has not
happened
happened
yet.
yet.
And when it goes away, you're like, oh, it just happened.
I don't know if I like this or not. I hope Google doesn't do this. Your Amazon Echo now has a new keyword. Hey, Disney. Will you turn this on,
Well, okay,
Stacey?
so-
You might turn this on, right?
I would not. No, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even talk to Madame A
But
anymore. If I can help it.
C3PO might talk, but this is for Madame A. C3PO might respond or
How
Pixar.
much? What was this deal?
So this is I think this is a really interesting deal because Disney worked closely with Amazon to create these personalized characters, and it's an exclusive deal through Amazon. And it's kind of like if you wanted to create this like vocal assistant to talk to your diehard users, like Leo, maybe someone wants to wake up to you in the morning and saying all their stuff, you could actually create the Twit assistant and pay Amazon to do that for you, which
They're
is
also-
kind of an interesting business.
Yeah, they're also going to put echoes in all the Disney resort hotels.
How would Leo wake you up if you could
Hey!
get that service?
Hey, what you doing sleeping? I've been up for hours. I'd more likely say, it's okay, go back to sleep. There's nothing to see.
There's nothing to rush to.
Nothing to
Just
rush
chill.
to. Just relax. Do as I am doing and turn off this alarm and roll over. Guests staying in select Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort hotels will be able to ask questions about park hours, request fresh towels. Hey, Disney, I want some fresh towels up here. Access other helpful features. And if you have a Magic Band Plus, which you use in the park to get onto rides and get into the park and stuff, it will buzz. It will transform into a game show style buzzer. When you answer trivia questions, it will react with lights and vibrations. It will also light up and buzz when your alarm. It's kind of like, if you're on house arrest and you have that ankle thing. It's kind of like that.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of like that, that ankle bracelet. It'll buzz you and wake you up and all kinds of things. And I guess for a fee, I don't know if it's free, because most of the other Echo voices are not. I have Samuel L. Jackson swearing at me from time to time. Melissa McCarthy telling me jokes.
Is this something that's really useful?
No, it's cool.
Folks with accessibility.
If you have kids, it's neat because like they have character, like you can actually talk to
Olaf.
the characters. So if
Olaf
like your
might
6-year-old
say,
loves Olaf, yeah.
Let it go.
Now I get it.
Or if you're in the mood to cook a nice meal, you could say, hey, I want, ratatouille rat. Tell me what to make.
Okay.
Wow. But remember we told you that Amazon is losing a lot of money on Echo, right? As much as $10 billion a year. So
I still don't understand how they lose money on it.
Because it costs.
They have a
understand
lot
they
of
don't make
developers. Well, there's a couple things. There's one, they had a bunch of people, like they hired like Mad to do things like, not attestation. What's it called when you're annotations? So they were annotated. So they had all these people all over the world annotating to make Madame A better. They also hired a bunch of people to go in all sorts of crazy directions. Like, oh yeah, you want to put Madame A in his college? We're going to set up a team of 200 people to do that. And vice versa. So that's kind of, they just went a little nuts.
Also, it costs money. A server is not free. I think we often feel like Google's free or whatever, but every search you do on Google costs a fraction of a cent. ChatGPT is 10 times more expensive, according to Sam Altman. So servers cost money. They use electricity. You got to build a facility. I mean, it's not cheap. So yeah, it's possible to lose $10 billion a year, especially since they don't make money on the hardware. That was the key on that story, was they sell you those Echo devices at cost, right? So they thought people would buy a lot of stuff. So, but I think this is them finding a new revenue model, right? Okay, how about a Disney thing? I noticed, by the way, my Echo Show keeps saying, don't you want to have the Avatar experience on your Echo? No. But I'm sure, I mean, it's still doing it. I'm sure Avatar, whoever that movie company is, paid him a lot of money.
They are bringing ads to Echo, and eventually they will bring it to your
you bet
other things. Oh, the dog ate the camera again.
Kylo's very active biting that.
He's out.
It's gone. So
Leo, back to your search engine. I wonder whether this whole talk about ChatGPT and search, we thought that people were going to speak sentences to this device and it was going to speak sentences back to us. And this was going to replace so much interaction with the digital world. And it didn't happen. That's the real import of the story. So is that just voice, or is that we don't really want to end up in full sentences? We want to be able to say, pizza near me, and leave it at that. And I don't want a sermon.
Well, I think
that's the cheaper route of going from a development standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's hard to do with voice. So I had actually the voice designer for Google. So a woman named Kathy Pearl. We talked about this on my show. Yeah, she was really cool. And she talked about, with voice, one of the challenges is because you only have one thing you can say back to someone. If you say, "Hey, I want to order a pizza," you don't really want to spend the time saying, then the response is, "Where would you like to get your pizza from?" Domino's. What kind of pizza do you want? I mean, that's a pretty, for that level of interaction.
Yep.
She's like, it's possible. She says the best way that she thinks about it is this a conversation you would have with a friend or a person? And if you would actually say all that to them, then it's possible. But for the most part, those longer interactions, the problem with voice is you have so much choice. And so unless you go in ahead of time and say, I always want to order from Papa John's and I always want a pineapple and bacon pizza, then
can you even order
out
for your protection?
Can you even
not be given such a thing?
Can you even order food on an Echo? I mean, could I say to
They did have a Domino's. So again, Domino's is a tech forward company.
Yeah.
They had an Alexa skill, so you could say, "Hey, Madam A, open up the Domino's skill."
Oh,
and then you could order a pizza.
It was too many steps, probably. I think people really, mostly, I just want to know when my asparagus is done. Frankly, I set timers.
Seems like that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
It's just too daggone complicated.
I steam it. I don't
even
boil
with
it.
voice.
Okay, yeah.
You should, shove it in the June. What are you doing?
Shove it in the June. Oh, that's roasting.
Drizzle some olive oil.
We do that with.
Pop that in there.
Oh, no, we do that with
That'd be
Brussels
good.
sprouts. The June is very good at Brussels sprouts. We went through a whole phase.
Nothing could be good at Brussels
A
sprouts.
phase. I'll do asparagus next time. Thank you.
Try it.
About 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, we had a company called Reviver on the new screensavers. It was me and Patrick Norton showing off their digital license plates. Let me see if I can skip ahead.
Look, if you could explain why anyone would ever do this to me.
It seemed like a really bad idea. Yeah, I hope that the new screensavers don't take us down. Here is the CEO of Reviver, which is a company that made digital license plates. They had not yet gotten it approved. One of our staffers, no longer here, Josh, bought one of these. Actually, you rent it for a expensive monthly fee. And got pulled over by a CHP officer who said, "What the hell is that like? You need a license plate, dude." And he said, "No, it's a legal license plate." They stretch a little bit to find a use for these Revivers. I have seen them from time to time on vehicles around town. Look, you can even have a picture of me on
That's
your
the only
license.
license I need.
Yeah. Well, turns
get me
out
in anywhere.
Turns out they got hacked.
No.
Researchers hacked California's digital license plate, gaining access to GPS location and user info just months after the release of the Reviver R plates. So it's only a matter of time. They went on sale in California late last
Those
year.
were legit. You could use those legally on the road.
Took them a while to get government approval.
Cool.
But, not so cool.
When I put this in the rundown.
Well, yeah, then there's that other part. Yeah.
Jalopnik had a funny link to, why would anyone ever do this?
Yeah, it was expensive too, as I remember, but I don't know why Josh thought it was cool, I guess. The bug also allowed researchers to update the status of any digital California plate to stolen. Likely getting you pulled over. I would guess. Yeah. So maybe not such a good idea. I'm just saying, just thinking. Let's see what else is
change
going
log?
on.
Change
log.
Do we do change logs
John
anymore?
Deere is
it,
now
it's a new
allowing you
year?
to. Yeah, no, let's do a change log. John Deere is now allowing you to open your tractor tech, but First, a word from Google, because we got to say something. Google Pixel
He's totally
phones
forgotten.
just got their new, monthly dump, and it allows you to get 5G in India.
Okay.
QPR2 Beta 2. Google Messages rolls out group chat end-to-end encryption in beta. Google Maps for Wear OS adds a phoneless navigation on LTE watches. Too bad you don't have a Wear OS watch. Anybody? Anybody?
Who does?
Bueller?
No one.
Bueller? Google's new high-definition maps are arriving first on Volvo and Polestar electric vehicles. I wouldn't mind an HD map. I think that's pretty cool.
I want a Polestar too, desperately.
Yeah, those are the Volvo-backed
they are nice.
EVs.
And
I
a
think they're
full
nice.
Android operating system. That goes to my heart, living
Yeah.
to Google.
Well, let's get you one. Hey, Mr. Polestar.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Polestar. Can
You're
you get
watching
one
the
of
show
these?
right now.
Yeah, he's watching.
never
Herbert.
managed
I
to
think
get
his
a
name is
free
Herbert
burrito at
Polestar.
Chipotle.
Yeah. Yeah, did you ever get a free burrito?
No, nothing.
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 Got nothing.
No.
Maybe try one of those new quesadillas that tastes like fajitas mixed with Philadelphia.
I thought you were going to say feet, and I was like, no.
Fajita flavored feet. Google's new split screen for Android Auto is rolling out. I have Android Auto on my vehicle, so I will give this a shot. It's been, kind of floating around in beta for some time.
What do you think about this? I don't know if I like the full screen for the map.
Yeah. I mean, I go back and forth. I have, I use Apple CarPlay, but I think it's kind of cool to have, especially on my car where the screen is pretty big. It would depend on the screen size, wouldn't it?
Yeah, mine's not that big on Mazda.
Yeah. The new Android Auto is here. Hey, this is really exciting. Google Meet is rolling out in-call emoji reactions.
I see making a mistake of doing that in a faculty meeting.
Thumbs up. Yeah. Woo. Well, we do a few Google Meets. I'll try it in our next staff meeting. Get some
That
thumbs
stuff
up.
apparently matters to people under 40.
Who is this person getting hearts and celebrations? Dang.
Nisha Madison. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Aiden Taylor is getting a heart from Nisha Madison. And Nisha.
I think Aiden can sue.
Yeah. I think that's unwanted attention, unwanted emoji. That's a new thing in California law. And Google Docs adds a feature we thought it already had.
Says The Verge.
Says The Verge. Non-printing characters. So there you go. You've been waiting for it. Now you got it. That's the Google changelog.
That was swift and efficient.
Efficiency is my middle name because waffles await. I do want to mention, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the Reviver license plates. The governor of our fair state, Gavin Newsom, in his State of the Union address, said something kind of interesting. He said that Californians are going to get a digital ID, but it's going to be, he didn't mention Apple at all, which is so far the only way I think you can do a digital ID with the Apple system, and it's going to be something extra marvelous.
Did he really use the phrase extra marvelous?
Well, I'll give you the exact quote. We're going to do it like no other. This is a very Trumpian quote. We're going to do it like no other state. Know this, says Governor Newsom, who is probably running for president in a couple of years. Actually, it'd be next year, wouldn't it? Know this, in just a matter of months, we're finally going to have those digital wallets where you can get your driver's license on a digital wallet, and we're going to do it like no other state has done it. There's only a few that have, but there's issues. Ours think it'll be next level. We're so excited about what the DMV can look like. This makes no sense. It's part of the California 2023-2024 budget proposal. And he said
Does
it's
it save
coming in
the
months.
state money?
I don't know. It's hip. It's happening. It's with it.
Wasn't Rick Clow the
was Rick Clow the guy?
Chief? Was he the chief digital officer for
He was. He's no longer doing that. That's right.
No
he was.
longer now. I wonder whether he was hatching
retired.
that.
I'm curious because a number of states do have these Apple digital IDs. But, it's complicated because you can't just say, well, that can work as a driver's license. Now you have to give all the police in the state the ability to somehow verify that that's not a picture on your screen, that that's a real driver's license.
What about me on Android?
And what about you on Android? It sounds like, I'm going to guess, because he didn't mention Apple at all, that it is perhaps something more than the Apple thing. Here's an example of the Arizona driver's license on your watch, which is cool as heck. But there's got to be some way to verify it for law enforcement to verify it. Otherwise, you can just put a picture on there. So
don't get me wrong. I like the convenience of having like a digital wallet and not having to pull out my wallet and grab the card and tap or insert or what have you. But at the same time, I think I have some privilege, and everybody's not going to.
Oh no, absolutely. And so they have to still offer cards, obviously. But look, I have on my. Stacy's passed out. We better hurry. I have.
Sorry, my dog is making weird noises, so I was seeing what was going on.
I think Stacy wanted to see what the show looked like if it was sideways. And does it look better sideways? I don't know.
No, my dog was snoring, so I was confused because it was a weird noise.
Do we all lean left or right, Jeff? Left? Okay, let's all.
That means I got to go this way.
No.
See, that's the thing.
I can't do it and do it right. Nope.
Stacy's leaning right. Nope. Now she's leaning left. I can't. Okay, there we go. Come on, Aunt. Right? Join the other way. Join the. We're all leaning left. People have always said this was a left-leaning show. Now they know it's
We're going to hear about that comment.
It's true. I like it. This is a California vaccination card that proves that it's legal, right? And I can use it. There's a QR code on it. It's my Apple Wallet has it. And I can use this almost anywhere that they want. They used to want that. They don't care anymore now. But when they wanted vaccination cards, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was California, I think. All right.
We had QR codes.
But the point you make about the law enforcement having some type of equipment to verify, that's what makes me nervous, because we're already dealing with some of our worst police officers having ego issues, and now you're telling them to pull out some type of device, and I don't know.
I don't want them plugging anything into my phone either, right?
Then there's that.
That too.
Well, Stacy's got to get. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, because you've got to show them, so you're going to have to unlock your phone. What if they just swipe it?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know. I agree. I'm not sure this is great. I mean, I don't know how they do it in the states where it's currently implemented, but maybe there's a QR code or something. But you could fake that too. You could do a screenshot. Yeah.
I can fake a QR code like myself. I don't even have to know anything.
Stacy is running late for her dinner date with the first CRISPR gene edited meat. So we're gonna let her be the guinea pig.
Did you want to talk about John Deere?
Oh yeah, John Deere. Well, what is there to say? Right? Did they? It's the right to repair. Alliance has won. Is it a victory?
It is sort of. So there's ish. So what they did is they signed a memorandum of understanding with the American Farm Bureau Federation. And so all this is a commercial agreement between John Deere and a group of farmers to say that John Deere is going to let farmers access repair information and repair software for fair and reasonable terms. So fair terms.
Well, an MOU is binding. It's legally binding.
It is. So what it doesn't do, though, so the farmers have to promise not to share this everywhere, so they can't post it. This is kind of like a secret commercial agreement. If the states or Congress come up with a law, it will supersede this. And there are things like, they are still going to have to pay for access to this. And it's, and I think they would need to keep the pressure on by having continued the threat of legislation, I think, is a good reason, because that's why John Deere actually did this. Because Congress was like, I'm sorry, you have got to get your stuff together, JD, because if farmers can't harvest their stuff because they can't repair their tractors, that affects our food supply. Not good. And John Deere's like, okay, fine, we'll do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the government coming after him. In 2021, President Biden issued an executive order urging the FTC to crack down. FTC said it will devote more resources to combating unlawful repair restrictions. John Tester from Montana, big farm state, introduced legislation to limit repair restrictions in ag. More than half of the U.S. states considering right to repair laws, although New York's right to repair law, which was the first and a model, has been somewhat gutted by Governor Hochul before she signed it. I think we're making progress, and I think you're right. I think John
Cory
Deere
Doctorow put up, I haven't read it yet because I don't have a year, he put up a very long thread about this. You can imagine that he'd be victorious but also suspicious.
Yeah, as are many over the John Deere agreement. So, let's see. But I think the writing's on the wall. Apple's bowed to pressure to allow people to repair their phones.
Kind of.
Yeah, in a very malicious
stand
compliance.
on your head and with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah.
And that is the question. Like, what is compliance going to look like under this? And we don't know yet.
Hey, everybody. Leo Laporte here. I am the founder and one of the hosts at the Twit Podcast Network. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do here at Twit, because I think it's unique. And I think for anybody who is bringing a product or a service to a tech audience, you need to know about what we do here at Twit. We've built an amazing audience of engaged, intelligent, affluent listeners who listen to us and trust us when we recommend a product. Our mission statement as Twit is to build a highly engaged community of tech enthusiasts. Boy, already your ears should be perking up at that, because highly engaged is good for you. Tech enthusiasts, if that's who you're looking for, this is the place. We do it by offering them the knowledge they need to understand and use technology in today's world. And I hear from our audience all the time, part of that knowledge comes from our advertisers. We are very careful. We pick advertisers with great products, great services, with integrity, and introduce them to our audience with authenticity and genuine enthusiasm. And that makes our host-read ads different from anything else you can buy. We are literally bringing you to the attention of our audience and giving you a big, fat endorsement. We like to create partnerships with trusted brands who are in it for the long run, long-term partners that want to grow with us. And we have so many great success stories. Tim Broom, who founded IT Pro TV in 2013, started advertising with us on day one, has been with us ever since. He said, quote, "We would not be where we are today without the Twit Network." I think the proof is in the pudding. Advertisers like IT Pro TV and Audible that have been with us for more than 10 years, they stick around because their ads work. And honestly, isn't that why you're buying advertising? You get a lot with Twit. We have a very full-service attitude. We almost think of it as kind of artisanal advertising, boutique advertising. You'll get a full-service continuity team. People who are on the phone with you, who are in touch with you, who support you with everything from copywriting to graphic design. So you are not alone in this. We embed our ads into the shows. They're not added later. They're part of the shows. In fact, often they're such a part of our shows that our other hosts will chime in on the ad saying, "Yeah, I love that." Or just the other day, one of our hosts said, "Man, I really got to buy that." That's an additional benefit to you because you're hearing people our audience trusts saying, "Yeah, that sounds great." We always over-deliver on impressions, so you know you're going to get the impressions you expect. The ads are unique every time. We don't pre-record them and roll them in. We are genuinely doing those ads in the middle of the show. We'll give you great onboarding services. Ad tech with pod sites, that's free for direct clients. Gives you a lot of reporting, gives you a great idea of how well your ads are working. You'll get courtesy commercials. You actually can take our ads and share them across social media and landing pages. That really extends the reach. There are other free goodies too, including mentions in our weekly newsletter that's sent to thousands of fans, engaged fans who really want to see this stuff. We give you bonus ads and social media promotion too. So if you want to be a long-term partner, introduce your product to a savvy, engaged tech audience. Visit twit.tv/advertise. Check out those testimonials. Mark McCrary is the CEO of Authentic. You probably know him, one of the biggest original podcast advertising companies. We've been with him for 16 years. Mark said the feedback from many advertisers over 16 years across a range of product categories, everything from razors to computers, is that if ads and podcasts are going to work for a brand, they're going to work on Twitch shows. I'm very proud of what we do because it's honest, it's got integrity, it's authentic, and it really is a great introduction to our audience of your brand. Our listeners are smart, they're engaged, they're tech savvy, they're dedicated to our network. And that's one of the reasons we only work with high integrity partners that we've personally and thoroughly vetted. I have absolute approval on everybody. If you've got a great product, I want to hear from you. Elevate your brand by reaching out today at advertise@twit.tv. Break out of the advertising norm. Grow your brand with host-read ads on twit.tv. Visit twit.tv/advertise for more details, or you can email us advertise@twit.tv if you're ready to launch your campaign now. I can't wait to see your product, so give us a ring. Let us conclude this fine festivity by getting Stacy to give us a thing of the week. Now that it's dark out.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that it's dark. Okay. I have
Stacy has induced God to turn on dark mode in her native region.
Well, isn't it dark where y'all are?
Yeah.
Is it not dark?
It sure
out
is
there?
here.
Well, I know.
Well,
Jeff,
you
you're
have
like
a lot
on
of
the other side
clout
of the
with the woman upstairs, and I think you've convinced her.
Okay.
Dark mode's the only mode.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not. I'll tell you what it is. It's an induction burner we saw at CES that is really cool. So
I like induction stoves. I'm still trying to get an induction stovetop. I really want it.
Why can't you?
So-
we have that. It's great.
This is called the Tramontina. So Tramontina's Guru.
That's a region
induction
in
burner.
Italy.
It is. Well, it's a Brazilian country. Or sorry, it's a Brazilian company.
Okay.
And they actually make the Tefal brand of cookware, by the way.
Which for a long time we used to use it. We don't do it anymore because it's cancer causing or something, but
they have both cancer causing and non-cancer causing.
Oh, that's nice now.
But
they offer the new non-cancer causing non-stick cookware. That's great.
Non-piece fabs.
I don't know if it's cancer causing. I read somewhere and I dimly remember it's probably not good to have non-stick cookware.
Was it one of your California labels? What said that's on everything that says this thing? Yeah.
So the Tramontina induction cooktop is available even at Target.
Well, so this is the Guru. This is a new one they showed at CES. So the Tramontina Guru. This is expected in the first quarter. It's going to cost between $299 and $349. It's a single burner induction, but it, like our June oven, has a scale inside, and it also comes with hundreds of recipes that will walk you through all the cooking steps and control the burner.
Now, on Sunday, you talked about
BuzzFeed did that.
On Sunday, you talked about like you had a Heston Q or some sort of smart pan,
did,
and you don't like it anymore.
I do have it.
Yeah.
I don't like it because it's buggy to mess with because the Heston Q has to talk with the GE and it has to talk with the right device and like if
and you know how to
it
cook.
Used to be on my,
more importantly,
I also
you already know how to cook. So you don't need the pan to tell you what to do. The one advantage though I like about induction is the temperature control is very precise.
Control is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, here, and I will also say we're going to get to a point. I don't know if y'all have been following this, but there's been a lot of ink spilled lately about should we ban gas stoves?
Right.
Because gas in the kitchen is causing problems, health problems.
Oh, is it really?
And so I don't.
It's not just the natural gas is dangerous
atmosphere.
For climate. It's bad for your health.
It's bad. Like gas stoves in homes or homes. Children who grow up in homes with gas stoves have a 42% higher rate of asthma is the most recent findings. But there's been a lot of like, and I'm not going to argue about the politics of gas stoves, whatever. But also,
I'm ready to get off natural gas in our house. We'd like to replace everything, including the.
Well, and that's is part of the electrification effort.
Yeah.
But if you read this stuff and you're freaked out, an induction burner is a great way to get started for less than buying a whole new cooktop.
It's basically a magnet, right? And you need to have cookware that is
special cookware
that has magnetic.
It's steel,
or something with iron in it. Yeah, not aluminum.
Yeah,
and then it it doesn't have a heated, like you could touch an induction cooktop without burning yourself, but the pan gets hot, which is kind of cool.
Well, it does get hot. I mean, if the hot pan's been on it, it does.
Yeah, from the pan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody being like, look.
Well, Leo said.
And they're easier to clean because there's no interstices.
Yes. So the point being, I thought this was a really cool product. It's also a cool product for people who are like living in apartments or going to college because like I'm hopeful that when my child goes to college, I can send them off with an induction burner because they like to cook, and boom, it's not going to set anything on fire.
The BuzzFeed Tasty one.
That's what I was going to say. BuzzFeed Tasty had something like this a couple years ago.
2018. Yep.
But it died.
Yeah.
So this is that again.
App on iOS and Android. Unfortunately, this site is in Portuguese, but I'm getting the gist. The pictures are nice, and that's cool. How much?
$2.99 to $3.49.
Okay, for a single burner.
Yes. Now, a single burner, like a budget single burner from no name brand on Amazon, is like $115.
Okay, so it's not
just
much
to
more.
give you a little bit of a.
Okay.
I mean, it's more than twice as much, but a name brand burner is like 200. It's like 175 to 200.
Right.
So this is more, but it does have that integrated scale, which is kind of nice. And the recipes.
Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. That's in everywhere.
And there's no subscription fee.
You know, I think that's because of MEMS that we have scales everywhere now. Micro electromechanical machines.
No, I know what MEMS are. I'm just trying to follow your train of thought about why MEMS
because we can put, I think these scales in the feet of the June Oven and in the feet of the Tramontina Guru and others are actually MEMS because they're small, they're compact, they're inexpensive. And so they're starting to build these scales in everything, including that monogram, GE monogram mixer you were talking about has a scale in it too.
Profile mixer.
Yeah. Or
it
profile,
does.
yeah. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. That's my assumption. Anybody wants to correct me, then please do.
No, I mean, cheaper scale sensors make sense. When you said, I mean, MEMS are so many things. It's kind of like, you know why we have life on Earth? Water, oxygen.
I know. It's because of
felt like that.
Water. Water. But you can put basically MEMS are solid state scales, right? That you can put into things, and they're small. So
well, MEMS are any device.
They can be a variety of things, but they can be scales.
Yeah, anything to convert the digital or the analog world to digital. So it can be microphones, it can be gyroscopes, anything that's like, I see the real world, and I'm going to tell the computers what it means.
MEMS, according to NEVA, are chip-based technology where sensors are composed of a suspended mass between a pair of capacitive plates. Well, they all be danged.
Okay, my definition is way better.
I agree. I agree. So the Tramontina Guru.
So that's my thing of the week, because I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't need an induction stove, but maybe I'll convince my child they need it.
I have in a drawer somewhere the Heston Q induction burner, which I got with all the
have
pans.
one too.
So maybe I should just pull that out and use that instead. I just love the idea that you could set the temperature to 211 degrees. So it won't boil, but it go right up against it, which is cool. Things like that for simmering. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, did I just use your number of the week?
No. So I'm going to do one that you wouldn't let me do as a story, I'm sure, because it's arcane. Line 66, the Finnish Parliament.
There you go. Right there.
I knew you'd never do it. You'd never allow it.
No, you're right. I skipped over it already. Yep.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take this moment of democracy to do it. Because the Finnish Parliament rejected an EU copyright legislation as part of the digital services, the single market digital services, where the EU says we shall all do this, and then each country does their version of it. And Finland had a version of it, and the Constitutional Law Committee rejected it because it's about copyright and data mining. And of course, the EU is saying, no, data mining is bad, and Google does it, and so on and so forth. We shouldn't allow all this, and copyright, because the publishers say, you can't take my snippets, so that's all wrong. The Finns, God bless their souls, said this violates both the Finnish constitution and human rights regarding science and education. And I find this fascinating because one of my complaints about when people say, well, you shouldn't have that information, is you cut off knowledge, you cut off potential knowledge. And we've got to discuss that. And so what the Finns are saying is that science needs access to data. Education needs access to data. And I don't know where this goes. I don't know where it ends up, but I found it to be a really interesting path for constitutional discussion there. Now I can tell you that Denmark had no bank robberies last year because there's so little cash in the country. There's a number.
Wow. Wow.
And he stayed asleep until I came up with that one. That was for Leo.
Wow. But no, and actually, I think the Finnish folks, whoever they might be, are right that I think a lot of times these blanket copyright laws are strongly tilted in favor of copyright holders and against things like education, the public domain, and so forth. I'm sure Cory Doctorow would write a book about this. So good for the Finns.
Maybe I'll
saying,
do it first.
Yeah, good. Good for the Finns for saying, yeah, no. There's a reason we have a public square.
And Google raters, the people who decide whether Google search engine is doing a good job or not, just got a raise. To between $14 and $14.50 an hour, which is to say they were not well paid.
They are not well paid. What the hell?
And they don't get to eat in the cafeteria either.
They're contractors, so they don't get anything.
Right.
But do they work? That's terrible. They were being paid $10 to $12 an hour?
Well, it's kind of a Mechanical Turk task, in a way. I think that's probably what the argument was. But they depend on it.
Terrible job. You have to sit there.
And you think about it, how are you going to teach systems? There's going to be more labor like this in a more AI world where you're teaching the computers.
Yeah.
Well, humans have to decide at some level whether that's right or wrong and whether it's a good job or bad. And if that's seen as low wage labor, where you clearly have to be intelligent and educated enough to say, oh, that's right or that's wrong. Computer, you got that wrong. And if that's seen as low-level servant to the machine, that's not great.
So they're constantly
part
checking.
of it is.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you can work from anywhere. There's a lot of flexibility inherent in a lot of those kind of jobs, and so.
Well, let's face it; they're probably also not in the U.S., right? I would bet.
There are call center jobs here in the U.S. that are work from home that don't pay a lot of money, but the benefit is they're working from home, and these people set their own hours, so to speak. I know a couple people back in Carolina doing such jobs.
Now we all want to work from home and expect to.
Right.
Yeah.
To understand better what these guys do, as one rater explained to Forbes, if someone wants to see pictures of moon jellyfish and for some reason enters moon pie jellyfish, raters see to it people don't get results about marshmallow snacks. Thank God. I think they should get paid more.
Yeah, they should get paid more. But Mr. Jarvis, I still think that having someone hired just to understand the nuance of prompts is going to be a premium premium job at some point.
That's a coding job, really.
I think it's going to be a skill set that you learn, much like we learned how to search.
Yeah, we learned how to search, didn't we? Yeah. It's harder than that, though. I mean, people are.
Once we got past the Bayesian search, then it was all done.
I want 3% moon pie, 2% fish, and 43% induction cooktops. Aunt Pruitt has a pick of the week. A good one, I think.
Yeah, this was, over the holiday break, I watched a lot more YouTube, and I came across, again, Mr. Andre Mack, and he has a series talking about wine. Andre Mack is a sommelier, and he has a series with a bunch of celebrities where they sit down and guess cheap versus inexpensive wine. And this recent episode featured Kevin Hart, who is a fascinating man, comedian, actor, entrepreneur, great storyteller. And just watching that episode just brought out a lot more interesting information about Kevin Hart, let alone teaching us folks like me that don't know enough about wine yet learn.
You live in the midst of it.
Wine.
This is an interesting genre because, of course, it started with the hot ones, right? You get celebrities to eat hot sauce. I like this better.
I still watch that too.
I would do this one. I don't want to do hot
still
sauce.
Watch that one.
This is a good idea. Have them drink wine and find out more about them. And there's a little test here because he's going to give you wine. He won't tell you if it's good or bad, and you have to figure out what the expensive wine is and what the cheap one is.
Right. And as you know, just because you hand me a $200 bottle of wine, I may not think it tastes like a $200 bottle of wine. It may taste like crap to me.
Yeah.
But yet that $10 bottle may be phenomenal.
In fact, a lot of research.
Chuck's fame came from this.
Yeah. $2 Chuck. Yeah. There's a lot of research, frankly, that people are heavily influenced by the price. And if they don't know the price and they taste the wine and they're honest, it's very often not the most expensive wine or even an expensive wine that wins. That
well, this one will surprise you. That particular episode.
Does Kevin have a good? Does he have a good taste buds? Is he reliable?
He was the stuff that he said. He's got some experience.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to watch this. So this is a YouTube.
They just drink it.
YouTube. This was from Bon Appetit magazine.
Bon Appetit featuring Andre Mack.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Sommeliers.
There it is. Sommelier tries this. Oh, look at so he's like their house sommelier. That's cool. That's really cool. And of course, you didn't do it this time. You usually tell us about your website, antpruitt.com, and all those fine prints available for sale. And let's give you
antpruitt.com/prints. I haven't been able to get out and shoot something else that I wanted to put up for prints.
You were going to take rainy day pictures. There's not much else to do.
All this dadgum rain and mud and muck and hasn't been appealing to me. But there's still some prints out there for people to check out if they're interested in putting them up on their walls, on their friends' walls, at their favorite bar or what have you.
He's also on Insta. And Hands-On Photography is his show, twit.tv/hop. Who's coming up? What you doing in the future here?
Well, I was going to talk about macro photography, but I just saw a story earlier today that may make me address that story because it's just sort of.
I saw you featured in a story about getting skin tone right.
Yes, Mr. Tashaka Armstrong over at iMore, he wanted to do a test for looking at the iPhone and the Google Pixel phones and just smartphones in general, how they handle skin tones for everybody, not just people like of color, but also white people and in various different scenarios where the lighting was really good to where the lighting was pretty craptastic. It was not a fun test, but yeah, we got a lot of good information out of it. It was myself featured as well as Juan Backnell. People that listen and watch All About Android, they know both of those names because Juan and Tashaka have been on the Twit network a time or three.
Nice. Ann is also the manager of our Club Twit community and has done a great job putting together events. Stacy's tomorrow. I will join you at 9 a.m. for Stacy's book club, Project Hail Mary. Yeah, unbathed, uncoiffed. 9 a.m. Pacific, that's noon Eastern. Is 1800, 1900, I don't know, sometime in Eastern, in UTC. And
it's
then
too early for Leo.
It's too early. Even just talking about it, I can't do it. 4 p.m., much better time next Thursday for an Inside Twit with Lisa and me. Wintu Dow, the host of All About Android, will be on the 9th at 9 a.m. And as I mentioned earlier, Daniel Suarez at 11 a.m. in the Club Twit Discord. That'll be a lot of fun.
Folks, for our members that are interested in these events, I get asked, here and there about the timing. They're like, is that Pacific time or is that my time zone? Well, we do have that. I believe it's Unicode inside of the.
It's on your. It's in your time zone. Discord translates.
And it should show.
Yeah.
Right. It should show in your time zone.
But if Discord doesn't know what time it is, then no one does. So, yeah, Discord should fix that for you automatically. But 9 a.m. East is Pacific. When I say it out loud, I'm saying our time, which is 9 a.m. Pacific. That's why I always say noon Eastern and 1700 UTC, so that people know. Thank you, everybody. Stacy, go have a wonderful meal. So jealous.
I will.
Yay.
Tell us all about it.
Stacy on IoT.com at GigaStacy. She's also, of course, co-host with Kevin Toffel of the IoT Podcast. Great show this week, all about stuff they saw at CES. And Stacy was on Twit this week, and she was wonderful, too, so you can catch that as well. If you don't get enough Stacy in your life, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific.
It's like, this week is your week.
It's your week. It's Stacy all the time. Jeff Jarvis, he is our resident expert on all things media. And, of course, he's a professor of journalism somewhere. I have the card here somewhere.
It's all right. It's all right.
Says, no, I have to tell you, everybody. He is the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Thank you, sir. At Jeff Jarvis and his new book.
I meet with the marketing people at Bloomsbury next week. So if you're ever going to pre-order the book, now would be a great time to do it.
Because as soon as they get a hold of it, they're going to double the price. bit.ly.
Wow, look at all your friends.
/by Gutenberg. As if Gutenberg was for sale. The age of print and its lessons for the age of the internet.
I like the cover design you went with.
Isn't that nice? I do too.
Options. Yeah.
The Gutenberg parenthesis. And we know some very beautiful fonts inside, thanks to Glenn Fleischman.
Glenn Fleischman. We have doves.
Is that the one that guy threw off the bridge?
Yep. Yeah. This is the one. It's a great story. And then the body type, the story is that the designer of it was arrested by Hitler because of his font.
Wow. Typefaces have such an interesting
they do. That's the next
story.
book.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Aunt Pruitt. Twit.tv/hop. Thank you all for joining us. We do the wonderful This Week in Google show, which has nothing to do with Google, every Wednesday around about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. I only mention that if you want to watch live at live.twit.tv. There's streaming audio and video there all day long and all night long. If you're watching live, chat live at irc.twit.tv. That's our IRC chat room, but you can just use your web browser to go there. You can also, if you're in the club, chat in the Discord after the fact. Our ad-supported versions of the show available at twit.tv/twig. There's a YouTube channel, This Week in Google channel on YouTube. You can also subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and that way you'll get it automatically as soon as it's available. I thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. I hope you will too for This Week in Google. Bye-bye. 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 Everybody say goodbye to the Jeff Jarvis portrait hanging over Aunt.
If you are looking for a midweek update on the week's tech news, I got to tell you, you got to check out Tech News Weekly. See, it's all kind of built in there with the title. You get to learn about the news in tech that matters. Every Thursday, Jason Howell and I talk to the people making and breaking the tech news, get their insights and their interesting stories. It's a great show to check out, twit.tv/TNW.